We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
We're Costco guys. Of course we have to try the new double chunk chocolate cookie.
We're Costco guys. Of course we have to try out the furniture.
We're Costco guys. Of course we work out with the tires.
We're Costco guys. What the heck is this thing?
We're Costco guys. Of course we look at every TV in the place every time we come in.
We're Costco guys. Of course we get the sample even though we bought the thing the last 3 times we were here.
We're Costco guys. Of course we cool off in the milk fridge.
We're Costco guys. I'm still eating my chicken bake.
Kid, everyone asks, why does he not go to school? And then they have a daughter named Ashley, and people just sexualize Ashley in every single video. And like the top comment is always like, I'm gonna boom in Ashley. That's like always the top comment, bro. Every single time. Probably like 16. Oh, bro, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And there's just so many comments about it, and I'm stunned. If I'm a dad and we're doing this, I'm deleting every comment of some random person on the internet talking about booming in my daughter, bro. What's the dad's name again?
We're Costco guys. Of course we have to try the new double chunk chocolate cookie.
That was great, Dad. I love Costco. I'm gonna try and work here when I'm older. Get an even better discount.
You know we live for the discount, son.
What kind of a father does the equivalent of tracking his 12-year-old son out for a 10% Costco discount? What kind of degenerate serves up his only daughter on a platter to creeps on the internet? This is the story of AJ Befumo, who has exploited his kids for pennies on the dollar since they were old enough to draw breath. Some have even likened his son Big Justice to a child actor but without the payout, saying that he doesn't get a reality without having his life on camera. From shopping to literally making dinner, AJ Befumo is always caught at the crime scene shoving a camera into his little kids' faces. Would you believe it if I told you this has been happening since they were born? Many people only began hearing about AJ and Big Justice after their Costco video went viral in 2024, but the truth is, AJ has been trying to use his kids to attain internet celebrity status for over a decade. One might wonder if he actually loves his kids or if he just had kids for the sake of content. According to a comment, the first time I heard about the Costco guys was in the Meat Canyon cartoon last week, where the dad sells his son into slavery for an extra Costco discount, and I didn't even realize they were real people. 10 years ago, AJ started filming intimate family moments with his wife and kids and uploading them on the internet.
It's not time to make a change. Just relax, take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault. There's so much you have to know. Find a girl, settle down. If you want, you can marry. Look at me, I am old.
It seemed like a cute little wholesome family vlog that would be showed to the kids when they grew up. Nothing out of the ordinary. After all, so many other families did it too. But in retrospect, it's clear that AJ saw his family as his ticket to internet glory. When that didn't work out, he pivoted to alpha male content, but wasn't able to stick with it for too long before he was shunned out of the business. One Twitter user said, 7 to 8 years ago, him and a guy I knew had a web show about him being a man, and they spammed about it so aggressively in the local New Jersey beer group that people basically bullied them out of the group for being so incessant and annoying. Talk about an epic fail. After disappearing for a few years, AJ re-emerged online with a new angle, real estate content. The only problem? It was completely unremarkable. I mean, who wants to watch videos of a buff, middle-aged guy trying to sell them real estate? He struggled for years to gain traction, and his videos barely made a dent. It didn't take long for him to go back to his default, until one random day, AJ filmed a viral TikTok with his son at Costco.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
We're Costco guys. Of course we had to try the new double chunk chocolate cookie.
We're Costco guys. Of course we have to try out the furniture.
We're Costco guys. Of course we work out with the tires.
We're Costco guys. What the heck is this thing?
We're Costco guys. Of course we look at every TV in the...
And just like that, they were famous. The video is called Endearing, Wholesome, and Warm. Kids and moms used this sound to make their own TikToks. It was a whole moment.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
We're Costco guys. Of course we had to try the new double chunk chocolate cookie.
We're Costco guys. Of course we have to try out the furniture.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
We're Costco guys. Of course we gotta try the new double chunk chocolate chip cookie.
If AJ had kept making videos with this kind of charm, maybe his rise to internet fame would have felt more organic. Instead, they chose the easy way out, algorithm hacking. Now they're everywhere, racking up millions of views, yet somehow never posting anything actually interesting or entertaining. They seem to be all over social media, racking up millions of views, but they don't seem to post anything actually interesting or entertaining. Their recent videos are literally just one giant ad reel. Either they're pushing their song,
Bring the boom, bring the boom, bring the boom was the song of the summer this year.
Put him on the boom, we're gonna rape. Put the fries in the bag now, already ate it.
Boom, doom in the restaurants making some noise. Taking the field with the book of bitch noise.
What's on the MC like Slim Shady? Throw in the roll just like Tom Brady.
Throwing up weight that another scared punch. Snatching home runs like Aaron Judge.
stuffing their faces with Costco food,
Injustice.
or promoting some random product they were obviously paid to hype up.
We're Costco guys. We got the King's Hawaiian Sweet Roll Twin Pack with 32 rolls. Hey, Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have these 24-pack brioche slider buns. Hey, Costco guys, what do you got?
We're Costco guys. We got the Fruit Feast, 180 feet of fruit fun. Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
And in all their comment sections, you can only find 3 sets of people, total degenerates that only watch their videos to harass the children, or people who are strangely addicted to their content. And of course, the occasional voice of reason. More than a few people have commented that the way AJ looks at everyone suggests that he might be dead inside, which might also explain his total lack of creativity and his tendency to court degenerates using his content. They started as food reviewers, but even that content is nothing more than loud, empty endorsements. They don't explain what makes the food good, they just scream, boom!
This gets a really big
Boom! Boom or doom?
While staring unblinking into the camera. Many believe it's super cringe and a little bit creepy. They spammed their way into virality by posting every single day and forcing the boom catchphrase down everyone's throat, and there are no limits to where they can shout boom, including public spaces like the airport.
We bring the boom!
I know I'm not the only one that thought this, but yelling boom in the airport is crazy.
They claim to be spreading family-friendly positivity, but all people see is a never-ending stream of annoyance. Scrolling through their feed feels like listening to a podcast where it's just the ads. And once you watch one of their videos, good luck, because now they'll haunt your feed forever. There was a time when people got popular because others genuinely liked and shared their content. Now, multiple people have complained that it's all about who can game the system with tacky, loud, brain rot content. Even the people that liked them in the first place have quickly changed their minds. Endearing, innocuous, have wholesome family content for once, until it became apparent they were just algorithm hacking to a degree. Now it sucks. These Costco guys may be everywhere, but does anyone actually like them? Their appearance on Jimmy Fallon said it all. While on the show, Fallon himself looked visibly annoyed and confused, as if even he couldn't understand why they were famous.
Okay, how do we do this now?
Here we go, Jimmy, you ready?
Yes.
It's AJ!
Big Justice and the Rizzler.
And we're here with Jimmy Fallon, and this is the Boom Meter. Jimmy's gonna try the double chunk chocolate cookie.
Here we go. The double chunk chocolate cookie. I'm gonna give it a try.
So Jimmy, what does the double chunk chocolate cookie get on the Boo Meter?
Still, an interesting group of people seem to get it, especially fellow influencers. Since they went viral, they've been hopping on collab videos with other famous TikTokers.
We're at the Super Bowl with Young Gravy, and we got some cake, and this is the boom.
It's a double chunk chocolate cookie.
And it's chicken meat.
How many booms does it get on the Boo Meter?
5 big booms. Boom, 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 boom.
But their slippery slide into brain rot only really took off when he began to collab with a strange individual known as the Rizzler. That was a video of a collab between the Rizzler and the New York Mets, and these guys literally paid a pudgy little kid to come on camera and make weird hand gestures in a repetitive and slightly disturbing manner. For context, the Rizzler is also a little boy whose parents have never been sighted within 5 feet of him. He might be an alien or an ultra-realistic 5D holographic image for all we know. His entire content shtick is stroking his face and claiming that he has spread Riz to whoever his subject is. Of course, internet people love him. Since meeting the Rizzler and watching him get paid for the most brain rot things you can find on the internet, AJ and Big Justice then decided to go on an extended collab with this child. And since then, nothing has ever been the same. Together, they've raked in hundreds of thousands of dollars in endorsements. Some people even think that the Rizzler is related to them. Maybe it's because of how often they appear in videos together, the fact that they have similar body physiques, or that they seem to be close in age. Thank you, I've been so curious if Rizzler was like their cousin or something and how they were related. I am still curious if Rizzler and Big Justice go to school because they're always making videos, but that's a question we can't answer. But he's not, they're just partners in brain rot. With more and more fame, AJ has completely lost touch with reality, spiraling into a bizarre, degenerate version of himself, both online and in real life. His antics have become increasingly unhinged, to the point where even the Rizzler, of all people, hinted that AJ might be up to some naughty things.
Who would be more likely to be on the naughty list, AJ or Big Justice?
I'm out to say AJ. Oh my god.
And let's be real, if the Rizzler is calling you out, you know you've gone too far. Then there was that moment. A fan, probably someone who had followed AJ thinking he was running a wholesome, family-friendly channel, shared a deeply personal and tragic comment during a live show.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
Maybe they were looking for a moment of empathy. Maybe they just wanted to be heard. Either way, they were met with pure, unfiltered brain rot. The most insensitive, tone-deaf response imaginable. After that response, the guy faded into thin air, never to be heard from again. This should have been the moment for AJ and his crew to show they actually cared about their audience. If they were at all interested in curating a meaningful community, this was their chance. And honestly, how hard would it have been to pause the boom shtick for 1 minute to express some basic human decency? Someone died, for goodness sake. A quick acknowledgement. A simple, hey, we're really sorry for your loss. But no! Instead, they bulldozed right past it, acting as if the comment was just another moment to meme their way through. Talk about callous. And the audience noticed. Thousands of people who attended that live show took to the comments, pointing out just how cold and dismissive the response was. Even longtime followers seemed stunned at the sheer lack of awareness. But AJ, the adult in the mix, refused to either walk back on his comment, apologize, or do any kind of damage control. That's because there is no damage. The message is clear. Degeneracy is the brand. And worse, he's made the conscious decision to put his preteen child at the forefront of it, with zero concern for how it might impact the boy's welfare. And speaking of welfare, let's talk about Big Justice's health. People have been raising concerns for a while now, and for good reason. More than half their content revolves around eating fast food, and it's starting to show. A recent video went viral where Big Justice was visibly struggling to breathe properly.
To public school, it was all day. Do a video for my friend. During the end of the year, I had to sign about 700 yearbooks. This like security guard had to come up and like,
fame isn't the problem I'm referring.
Okay, there's a clear reason for this. You don't need to be a doctor to see that a constant diet of chicken bakes, sausages, and double chocolate chunk cookies might not be the best meal plan for a 12-year-old kid. Most responsible parents would do everything to keep their kids from eating stuff that might negatively impact their kids in any way. Heck, the average parent would go to the doctor and put their kid on a strict, healthy diet if they knew that it was affecting his breathing. Despite knowing all this, AJ has refused to cut down on the chicken bake content and prioritize his son for once. Anything for content, I guess. But it's not just his physical health that's suffering. His childhood is too. In that same clip, Big Justice openly admitted that he can't even go to school or focus properly without being badgered for autographs and videos. It's clear that his father has completely obliterated any chance of a normal upbringing for him. At this point, you have to ask, are the sponsorships, the endorsements, and the fleeting internet fame really worth the childhoods of 2 kids? Yet despite all this, they just keep doubling down on the same brain-rotting content that brings in the most views. And their one attempt at expanding their empire of annoyance? A collaboration with Jay Kinda Funny, a decision that somehow made their content even worse. If you don't know who Jay Kinda Funny is, let's break it down. He's that guy you don't want to be standing next to in a crowded place because he's probably pissed off a few powerful people and now mercenaries are trying to hunt him down. The one who makes a living off of harassing random people in public for content. He films them without consent. He disrupts their day. And he does this every single day.
Yo, can I get by? What the fuck, man? What's going on with you, man? Can you get out the way, man? You see I'm trying to shop. It's COVID season, man. We ain't got time. What the hell I do? Ain't nobody got time for that, man.
In caveman times, he would have been hung on a spit or sacrificed to the ancestors, mostly because people just didn't want to hang out with him. According to many people, he's probably the lamest and most annoying prankster on TikTok right now. And AJ thought it'd be a great idea to get his son to do a collab with him, because apparently, exploiting his kid for views just wasn't enough on its own. He had to also tarnish his public image by associating him with someone that can inspire rage in an entire subreddit. That kid is a little twerp, with his big stupid nose sticking out. Wear the mask right, fool. That kid needs punched in the face, hard. I was expecting an open-hand swack across the face for that kid. And since they got together, the Costco guy's credibility and public appeal has taken a sharp nosedive.
Wondering what to eat?
Right.
He doesn't know if he should eat the
chicken bake?
Or the double chunk chocolate cookie.
You don't want none?
It's a double chunk chocolate cookie.
Many have said that they have no respect for this collab, citing that at this point, it's pretty clear that they'd rather be famous for creating brain rot. They have a common interest in making videos that were creative and good. That would be one thing. But making money off brain rot? I have no respect for that. Most of their content is built around that song. That song is about advertising their videos. It's a rotating loop of brain rot. I watched a lot of their videos trying to find out why they were so famous until I realized they are famous for creating brain rot. But some believe that their tactics are super effective, no matter how irritating they may look while at it. You comment or share it for one reason or another, they get more views and shares. Here's the thing. When people hate the videos they make, they're very likely to share them elsewhere just to complain or condemn them. Whether it's Twitter, Reddit, or even reaction videos on YouTube, their content spreads like a virus. The more people complain, the more visibility they get. And then the inevitable happens. People who had never heard of them before start looking them up out of sheer curiosity. Their name enters search histories, their engagement skyrockets, and the algorithm does the rest. And just like that, they get more views, more brand deals, and more reasons to keep churning out content that the internet collectively despises. The way social media algorithms work means that any engagement, positive or negative, feeds into a cycle of visibility. Platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram don't care if the content is loved or hated. They only care if people are watching and engaging. The Costco guys have mastered this system. They don't need to make high quality or meaningful content. They just need to generate a reaction. Hate watching, outrage posts, and reaction videos all count as engagement. Every time someone shares a clip to mock them, the algorithm registers it as interest and boosts it further. This is why so much low-effort, obnoxious content thrives on social media, because it doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be talked about. And the Costco guys know exactly how to play the game. Their formula is simple. Post every day, be loud, be ridiculous, and create catchphrases that stick in people's heads. The constant yelling of boom isn't just a random quirk. They're intentional branding tactics designed to be as annoying as possible to keep people talking about them. Even those who hate them are unknowingly contributing to their success. By complaining, reposting clips, and engaging with their content in any way, they're ensuring the Costco guys stay on everyone's feeds. They're basically feeding off the hate at this point. But it seems like that's not all they're up to. When it comes to the daughter, Ashley, things go from annoying to downright disturbing. Ashley and her mother opened their own joint TikTok account and have been making content similar to AJ and Big Justice.
We're Costco girls. How many chicken bakes does this kid eat? We're Costco girls. This thing's like 800 calories. We're Costco girls. Of course we check ourselves out in the mirror. We're Costco girls. Why would we work out with tires when we have gym memberships?
But unlike her brother, Ashley gets a completely different kind of attention, and it's horrifying. Imagine comments so disgusting that other TikTokers are actively calling AJ out for failing to protect his own daughter. People are not just uncomfortable, they are furious that he has done absolutely nothing to shut it down.
A doubt it would take one person making a comment of my daughter for her to not be in videos anymore. And the fact that they have not even done the minimum of filtering the comments, let alone to, I don't know, maybe stop posting your daughter in very tight outfits if people are obviously using that to search for your daughter in tight outfits for very uncomfortable reasons. You're not doing anything to protect your daughter's image. The fact that you are okay with grown men making disgusting comments about your daughter. The fact that you're okay with actual accounts that are...
And what is the mother doing to protect her little girl? Absolutely nothing to stop it. In fact, she's done the exact opposite. She's actively participating in the madness. Since last year, she's officially joined the Boompire, constantly filming Ashley from questionable angles and dressing her in specific outfits, knowing full well what kind of audience they're courting. Thousands upon thousands of people are leaving disgusting, predatory comments about a 14-year-old girl, and none of the adults in her life seem to have a single protective instinct between them. Not AJ, not her mother, not anyone involved in this circus of exploitation. At this point, it's beyond just cringeworthy content, it's dangerous. They built their platform on loud, silly food reviews. They leaned into the brain rot because it got them views. But now, they're walking a fine line that no decent parent should ever cross. And instead of shutting it down, they're feeding the monster. Because at the end of the day, clicks are clicks, views are views, money is money. Instead, they'd rather go on podcasts and make passing comments about how they only focus on positivity.
Everybody's mean to us. So here's the beauty of it. That's on us, because there's always a battle of good and evil. And what side wins? The side that you feed. We
don't care about
the side of goodness and happiness and positivity.
Always.
Those are the comments we're responding to. There's so many more of those.
Yeah.
There are just so many more of those. So the thing's got 1 million hearts, but it's got, 100 bad comments. So,
Exactly.
You see where the love is.
It's one thing to focus on positivity, it's another to protect your children. These are not mutually exclusive ideas, but it seems like the adults in this situation are determined to milk this entire thing for all it's worth at the children's expense. They have enough clout that the New York Knicks thought it'd be a great idea to bring them onto the court for a collab. On the surface, this might seem like an amazing opportunity. Fame, fortune, a chance to meet Larry Johnson and the team. These are things that most people would consider once-in-a-lifetime experiences. But is any of it worth sacrificing a child's entire childhood? Because that's exactly what's happening. The kids were booed relentlessly by the entire audience on camera, and that digital footprint, it's going to follow them forever. Being publicly humiliated by thousands of people at once is something most adults would struggle with, let alone teenagers who are already vulnerable to self-esteem issues. No one is saying that these kids are being forced into this. But do they really understand the long-term consequences of what their parents are doing? The overexposure, the branding, the complete loss of a normal childhood? The parents, the ones who should be looking out for them, certainly don't seem to care. Already, their content is aging terribly. It's being categorized as peak brain rot. And if public sentiment is anything to go by, it's going to be very difficult for these kids to break out of this mold their parents have forced them into. Millions of people know who they are, and millions of people will mock them, say cruel things about them, and make sure they never forget. At this point, the parents are practically pimping out their kids for internet fame, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore. When you look historically at children who are pushed into a life of degenerate overexposure really early, I'm talking child actors, early life social media sensations, you can draw a straight line from that early exposure to disturbing life choices down the line. When those kids are in their late 20s, I wonder what drugs they'll be on to chase that high that they can never replicate. The Costco guys aren't the first to exploit children for financial gain, and they certainly won't be the last. The internet has only amplified a problem that has existed in the entertainment industry for decades. From child actors in Hollywood to family YouTube channels, using children for profit is nothing new. History has shown us time and time again that early fame often leads to devastating consequences. Take Macaulay Culkin, for example. The Home Alone star was thrust into the limelight at a young age, only to later reveal that he was emotionally and financially manipulated by his parents.
He latched onto this thing with Macaulay and took it for all it was worth.
While filming The Good Son in 1993, a 12-year-old Macaulay decided that he needed a break. As he recalled to New York Magazine, "I just said to Kit, listen, I'm really getting tired and I'm not at school as much as I'd like to be. I really need some time off." He said, "Yeah, sure," and the next thing I knew, I was on the next set doing the next thing, and it just kind of clicked in my brain, okay, there's basically nothing I can do to make this stop. The following year, Macaulay decided to quit acting.
He eventually emancipated himself as a teenager to escape the control they had over his earnings and life choices. Britney Spears is another tragic example. As a child star in the Mickey Mouse Club and later a pop sensation, she was subjected to extreme scrutiny and relentless media coverage.
I'm a person just like you.
Why don't you take one right now? What do you think it'll take to get the paparazzi to leave you alone? Is that one of your biggest wishes?
Her early exposure and the constant invasion of her privacy ultimately led to a very public breakdown, culminating in a conservatorship battle that lasted for over a decade. Today, Spears is popularly known as the child celebrity that went crazy because of the fame. But how can you blame her when she never had a moment's privacy to gather her thoughts? She lacked the luxury of being a normal person for so long that it messed with her head. And now, no one knows if she'll ever go find herself again. Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, and countless other former child stars have also suffered from the effects of early fame.
Before and After Nickelodeon Part 2, Amanda Bynes.
Today's my special guest is the executive producer of the amazing show, Dan Schneider.
Hi.
Can I get the executive producer of the show?
Yes, I'm the executive producer and
of how I look after I put some MAC NC20 Studio Fix on my face. Hey everybody, I wanted to let my fans know that I'm taking the board exam to get my manicurist license this Tuesday. I really hope I pass the test this time.
And Jeanette, the notable iCarly star, went as far as saying that even if a family isn't outrightly abusive, making the child the breadwinner is a form of child abuse. Jeanette McCurdy and Allison Stoner said it best. Even if the family itself isn't abusive, making a child the breadwinner of a family is a form of CA. No child should live under that level of pressure. Drug abuse, mental health struggles, and legal troubles have plagued many of these child stars, often as a direct result of the kind of pressure that was placed on them as children. Clearly, times have changed, and like everything else, child exploitation has evolved with the times. Instead of traditional child actors, we now have family vloggers who document every aspect of their children's lives for content. Channels like Daddy05 gained infamy for their prank videos, which often feature the parents psychologically tormenting their own children for views.
Disappearing ink.
I'm going to squirt it all over his carpet and start flipping out.
That's exactly what she does. Then she screams for her 10-year-old son, Cody.
What the? I didn't do that!
Even the father joins in, as the youngster says he didn't do anything.
Why did you do that?
You ruined the carpet.
Get out of here! Mind your business! I didn't do that! Mom and Dad, I didn't do that!
The backlash was so severe that authorities eventually intervened, and custody of the children was taken away. Another notable case is Mika Stauffer, a YouTuber who faced immense backlash after rehoming her adopted son with special needs because he was too difficult to manage. The public was horrified at the way she treated the child as disposable, especially after she had used his adoption journey to gain millions of views and sponsorship deals. Now, the Costco guys are walking a similar path. They are cashing in on their children's internet fame, with little regard for the long-term effects it may have on their well-being. Big Justice is already showing signs of struggling under the weight of this exposure, and Ashley is being thrown into a highly inappropriate spotlight where adults are making unsettling and disturbing comments about her. What makes this situation even worse is that the internet never forgets. There will always be a digital footprint to haunt them. These children are being set up for a future where their childhood moments, some of which they may not even understand the gravity of yet, will follow them forever. They won't be able to erase these viral videos or the public perception that has been crafted around them by their own parents. And yet these family accounts keep popping up. From Nicodiwa to AJ Justice, we've watched parents exploit their own children for profit, and the laws in place do next to nothing to protect these kids. Many people consider these parents narcissistic. Many have called for stricter laws to regulate child social media influencers and ensure their protection. There needs to be a law against child exploitation for the sake of social media. Seriously. But how much damage has to be done before these people are stopped?
I only have $14. Let's see what I can feed my family for dinner. I heard they'll give you more food if you record them.
Kids are the new cash cows. Well, not so new, more like they're making a comeback. Over the years, many celebrities we know today who started off as kid actors have come out to talk about some form of resentment they have toward their parents for pushing them into the spotlight too early or treating them harshly because of monetary gains. It's the same cycle repeating in new forms, this time on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. The cameras are smaller, the platforms more accessible, and the exploitation far easier to disguise as family content or cute parenting. But the consequences, just as lasting. Taylor Momsen, for example, she spoke about how her parents put her on TV screens at the age of 2, stating that nobody wants to be that burden so early in life. In her words, no 2-year-old wants to be working, but I had no choice. Ariel Winter, the Modern Family TV show star, filed for a restraining order to keep her own mother away from her because of pressure to be in the limelight more. This shows a growing trend of eventual resentment that comes from exposing kids to fame too early. Sadly, many people still haven't learned anything from cases like these. Meet Chris, a physician, husband of over 15 years allegedly, and a father of 3. On TikTok and Instagram, though, you would almost think that the husband part was a lie, as all he lets his followers see are his 3 kids. Chris has turned to one of the worst sides of social media for some clout, child content.
Are you ready to be spooky? How much hair?
Hey, Dada.
I don't know if anyone else feels this way. Now that my son is in kindergarten, I spent so much time with my 8-month-old and my 2-year-old. Today we're gonna do a Daddy Sunday and we're gonna have some fun.
We get it, social media is a moneymaker and everyone wants a slice of that global cake. The temptation to go to any length is strong, especially when quick success seems just one viral post away. Some people blur the lines between real and fake, pushing past reasonable boundaries in the name of content. But when you start leaning on carefully crafted misdirections, subtle lies, and worst of all, using your kids as the centerpiece of your content strategy, everything becomes much worse. That's not just questionable, it's manipulative, exploitative, and a blatant disregard for what it means to be responsible online. Like in this video, where he prepares his kids for a playdate even though they had COVID at the time.
Playdate in 1 hour, we need to disinfect everything. We're just gonna use this stuff. I don't really know how much to put in. Things we need to focus on, all the door handles, everything that was touched, cooler that my son threw up in. I'm afraid to even open this. We need to get these trash cans. There's a bunch of poop diapers in them. We're just gonna close all the doors where I don't want people to go. 100% closing this bathroom. We need to figure out where to put all this laundry. Kids are feeling much better. All they have left is a cough. Since we're already in the bathroom, we might as well clean this. The hardest part about cleaning with kids is the kids. Can you get that out of your mouth? We're gonna disinfect everything with hypochlorous acid. Plug it in. It's getting electrolyzed. We have to wait till that turns green and then it's ready to go. Let's clean the rest of the house. Now she took the toilet paper roll. Get it? I only have about 25 minutes left. We need to hurry up and start disinfecting. How long should those soak before they're actually clean? Can't forget the light switches. I don't think people really judge if a kid's room is messy, so we're not going to even attempt to clean it. All right, they're here.
Nothing screams intentional irresponsibility more than this. Everyone knows how scary things are when the virus forced countries to go into full lockdown mode, and how we were all advised to be very cautious about outdoor activities. It was terrible at the time, but not for Chris. Apparently, this was an opportunity to create content. Any rational parent would be more focused on taking care of the kids, making sure that the symptoms were not getting worse, not looking for ways to spread the virus to other kids. As expected, the video got the backlash it so deserved. Why not reschedule the playdate? Oh no, my kiddo would not be coming over. Not a great idea. The responsible thing to do would be to cancel the playdate. You just had COVID 4 days ago. They still have a cough? I would be furious if you didn't give me a heads up before the playdate. It was a no-brainer. But for Chris, it was more of content over responsibility. When you push boundaries a lot, you're bound to go so far without realizing it. Even with all the backlash, Chris saw no reason to take the video down or clear the air. That speaks a lot to his person and his true intent for putting his kids out there as a means to rack up views and engagement. Even in videos where his kids are not active participants, it is still all about them. Chris has monetized his kids in a way that ensures they are always part of the content, whether they physically appear in the video or not. Their presence is implied, their needs are referenced, and their struggles are used to add emotional weight to whatever message he's pushing. But the most common formula he returns to is the classic broken solo dad combo. It's his brand, his hook, and the narrative that keeps the sympathy and engagement rolling in. Chris's videos are mostly about him posing as a broke dad.
See what I can feed my family for dinner. We're at Walmart today. Today we're gonna try and get meat and hide vegetables. I don't know why there's never prices at the tortilla section. These ones are $2.33. We need chicken for this. We're gonna go see if we can find some rotisserie chicken because the chicken prices are ridiculous. These ones are reduced $2 for a rotisserie chicken. We're only at like $4.50. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get some vegetables. Just one small red onion. 2 of these. These are $1.97. I used to eat this all the time growing up. The kids have never had it. You can hold it open for me. Cilantro, 83 cents, $1.98. We're just gonna get this one because it's $1.26. We need 2 of these, they're 98 cents. $1.97. Hold that for me. Cream cheese, $1.77. Okay, I made the mistake of taking her out.
I only have $14. Let's see what I can feed my family for dinner.
This time we're gonna try Out to Eat Edition. Chipotle has raised their prices a lot. All right, let's see how this goes. I heard they'll give you more food if you record them. I think this is the first time I've ever been here with no line. Hi, can I get a rice bowl, chicken, white rice? And can I get an extra bowl of just lettuce? Can I also get 1 tortilla? Yeah, on the side, thank you. I'll take a little bit more if you got it. 2 scoops of corn salsa. The key is to get everything on the side. The pico de gallo on the side, sour cream on the side, $12.67. Thank you. So the total with tax is $12.67. Honestly, we have so much money left over. We're gonna go get dessert. Wow, they raised the prices up in this place. This place got expensive. Can I get a large chocolate frosty? Thank you. You too.
Like this.
3 meals made, and I still have all of this. Only thing I forgot was to get some to-go hot sauce. And I got enough for leftovers.
If that was all he did, it might not have been so much of an issue. Being broke is not a crime, right? But to stand out in the broke community, you need a bit more sauce to the story, and Chris found the perfect one. On top of the questionable claim about his financial struggles is the fact that he presents himself as a solo parent. That additional layer is what turns a regular dad story into a viral underdog narrative, even though it's built on shaky ground.
3 kids, 1 broke dad. 3 kids, 1 broke dad. Let's go thrift shopping for my kids' Christmas. 3 kids, 1 cheap dad. We're at Goodwill. We need Halloween costumes. Thrift shopping with me as a broke dad. Yes, I said a broke dad of 3 kids.
He always makes sure to throw in the fact that he is a broke dad with 3 kids. He never misses on that. It has become his MO. That's what he's known for. His social media handles emphasize this reality he so badly tries to sell to everyone. A broke dad navigating parenting all alone and killing it. It's the hook, the brand, the image that draws people in and keeps the sympathy and engagement pouring in, even if it's far from the truth.
It's 5:30, everyone's hungry, everyone's tired, let's go shopping. Should I even...
In these videos, Chris writes in the captions that he is a solo parent of 3 kids. This is willfully misleading, as Chris himself admits to being married. He has a partner who is actively involved in raising their children, sharing responsibilities and contributing just as much. Yet he chooses to hide this fact, allowing his audience to believe a version of events that simply isn't true.
I am not single, these are just my adventures as solo parenting. I've been together with my wife for over 15 years. We both work in healthcare and we alternate days. She works 12-hour shifts, I work 12-hour shifts, so we never really see each other.
His big argument is that there's a difference between solo parenting and single parenting. In one of his videos, he explains what he believes to be his own definition of solo parenting. He claims it means being the only one physically present with the kids during certain hours, even if the other parent is still fully involved otherwise. But by bending the definition to fit his narrative, he continues to blur the lines and mislead his audience.
Explain single versus solo parenting. Single parenting, like you don't have a partner or anyone that's there to help you. And it's like an everyday thing. Solo parenting is like pretty much like if you have a partner, you could be married, you could be whatever, but you have a partner, you're taking care of the kids when they're away. So they could be like deployed or working or whatever. Healthcare, work long shifts. Sometimes I work like...
He explains solo parenting as something that is time-bound. To him, being a solo parent is not implying that he has no partner in the picture. It simply means that for certain periods of time, he is only one half of the duo taking care of the kids. So according to Chris, every parent is a solo parent at some point in their lives. Unfortunately, this is not an opinion that everyone shares with him. Many people see solo parenting as something far more serious and permanent than just being alone for a few hours. A Reddit user commented, "This man responds to comments about how fortunately his mom was in town to help, and when people ask if he has any help, he does not mention his wife being in the picture at all. He is definitely trying to play into the whole 'I'm a broke single dad with no spouse or help.' This is the problem. As much as he's owned up to having a wife, he still makes it seem like he doesn't. This is not the story of a misunderstood man. This is someone who is very aware of what he's doing. Call it social engineering if you may. The information is there. Oh guys, I am married, but the actions are all geared toward making him look like he isn't, like he has to do this all by himself. Every video, every caption, and every carefully curated moment reinforces the image of a lone warrior dad, fighting to raise his kids against all odds. There's an intentional omission of context, a strategy built around absence. It is a performance, a very polished and persuasive one, and powerful enough to draw sympathy from strangers who don't realize they're watching a carefully crafted illusion.
Hi everybody, I hope you're all having a great day. I'm tired. It's been hard because I think my daughter's having like a sleep regression or something, so she's not sleeping that well, which means I'm not really sleeping that well. So I'm just a little tired. In the morning the kids are sleeping still, and then I'd come home, the kids would be still sleeping. So there'd be days where I like wouldn't see them unless I go in there. Well, I wouldn't see them awake. I'd check on them, but I wouldn't see them awake. That's a hard thing about being in healthcare.
It is always about him. His daughter can't sleep, so he can't sleep. It's not that they can't sleep, it's just him. Almost like whatever happens does not have any effect at all on his wife. Both parents work in the medical field, but the only sacrificial story worth making it to his audience is the one that talks about him working so long and so late that he doesn't get to see his kids when they're awake. No thanks to the mom who took care of them while he was working. Another Reddit user wrote, "Liked him until I found his video explaining he is married and they just work opposite shifts. That's not solo, that's just parenting. Solo parenting is a parent that does it all on their own with no partner. They have 2 incomes, still 2 parents. The way he acts, he does everything for these kids all the time and supports them all himself and is struggling, and it's just not the case." It really does not take so much brain power to piece together the game Chris is playing. It's a sad one, but it's a ploy that has a history of getting results. He is a predator, one that feeds on sympathy and compassion. His comment sections are always filled with people fawning over his love for his kids and how they're so proud of him. Comments like, "Keep up the good work. I hope everything turns out well for your sweet family. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the good work. This solo dad and his kids need a lot of support. Try not to skip ads for the sake of these kids." Chris has organized himself a large and unending pity party, and he has thousands of gullible guests in attendance, every willing to sponsor his need for internet attention.
Yeah, they wrecked this place. Whose poopy diaper is this?
Who's daddy?
Here. Love you guys. One of the hardest things as a parent is having to work, come home, clean, put the kids to bed, and then do it all again. Hungry again? Does anyone else's kids always need a bedtime snack no matter how much dinner they eat?
Again, just Chris and his 3 kids against the world, no help whatsoever. Something about Chris, though, is that he is smart, or at least he believes he is. In his Q&A sessions, he casually tackles and tries to invalidate legitimate concerns that people have. For example, in one of his TikTok videos, he tells us why his wife is never in any of the videos. And while that sounds reasonable on the surface, it conveniently supports the illusion he has created. He doesn't push back on the comments, assuming he's doing everything alone. And he never once says, "Hey, my partner is just private, but we're in this together." That careful silence helps keep up the lie without actually telling one outright.
Crazy with the kids. I am not single. These are just my adventures as solo parenting. I've been together with my wife for over 15 years. We both work in healthcare and we alternate days. She works 12-hour shifts, I work 12-hour shifts, so we never really see each other. These videos are from those days that I have the kids the entire day, from morning time, getting them ready for breakfast, getting my son off to school, to the afternoon and evening when I'm getting him ready for bed and everything. My wife doesn't really want to be on camera. I'll try to sneak her on there for you guys. I don't know, she might be a little mad at me if I do, but
Get this, he's been married to his wife for 15 years. And at the time he put out that video on TikTok, which was in September 2023, they had a 4-month-old daughter together. Yet somehow from that time till now, we still have not seen his wife in any of his videos. Now, nobody's saying he should go out of his way to constantly disrespect her boundaries, but it's very weird and probably suspicious that she has not accidentally walked into the frame in any of his videos. Like that is not crazy enough, her voice has not been heard in any of these videos he's putting out. Not once. No background conversation, no offhand comment, not even a laugh in the distance. It's as if she doesn't exist at all in that household. If he is truly married and everything is fine at home, then this is a very interesting setup, a strange and very deliberate one. Now, I know you're thinking, but hey, he said they work in different shifts and they don't get to see themselves. That excuse only goes so far, because even in a home where parents barely cross paths, traces of each other still appear. A voice off screen, a second opinion from across the room. In Chris's videos, there's none of that. Just him, the kids, and the perfect story.
You come up with the name Solo Dad. So, I guess with Solo Dad, when did I create it? My daughter was like a month old when I started my channel. I wanted to focus on solo parenting, and it's the only thing that...
Chris started his channel when his daughter was a month old. Just 1 month. So where was his wife? Back at work already? I think not. Just like workers in other fields, nurse practitioners are entitled to maternity leaves, which span up to 12 weeks. That is 3 whole months. So unless she willingly skipped her maternity leave, which is highly unlikely, she would have been home during that period. Yet somehow she is completely missing from the narrative, even when she was presumably present in the household full time. That absence isn't just strange, it feels intentional. In an article written by labor and employment attorney Jennifer Lankford, she stated that, under the FMLA, an eligible employee is entitled to up to 12 weeks of job-protected unpaid leave during a 12-month period. In addition to the protections offered by the FMLA, the state where you practice may have a more generous maternity-paternity leave law in place. So if we go by regulations, Chris had at least 3 months when his wife was at home taking care of her baby girl. But throughout that time, she still did not find her way into any of his videos. He never showed her face, she never spoke, there was no interaction whatsoever. even if she had to be off the camera while she spoke to him. Strange, really strange. Even on Valentine's Day, Chris uploaded a video on TikTok about surprising the family, but his wife was not included in his plans on Valentine's Day of all days.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's Valentine's Day. I have to work. Let's surprise the family.
Yo no me voy a quitar, tengo pequeños donde a mi vanidad. Yo me canto con mi yo me cambio contigo, un abrazo en el mismo pedido. Estoy esperando el primer descuido, presentarte como mi marido.
Morning. Good morning.
Pink flower.
I know you wanted a pink one.
Is this a rose?
That is a rose.
Ah.
All the thorns are cut off except that one.
Ow. Can I smell it?
Chris is so committed to the solo dad act, it's almost like he's sworn to make his wife look absent in the family. Even if she was working her shift, he definitely should have made arrangements for her in what he called a family surprise. Sadly, Chris's wife feels like his insignificant other. What's even more disturbing is that he gives credit meant for his wife to his mom.
If you don't have one of these in your house, get one. It's the life hack, just in case. I'm so excited for you guys. Mom was here to watch that mini adventure and to you guys along with.
I just got home from vacation. Let's see what the house looks like.
Holy. Why is there a pee diaper here?
It's 1:18. I've been traveling all day. We're gonna go ahead and give it 30 minutes. You just push everything into a pile and makes everything feel so much better.
For all those people that are gonna ask me who watched the
Just like his wife, his mom doesn't make it to the big screens, but at least she gets featured somehow. It's clear that if there's an involvement in another party in the kids' lives, Chris has no problem making it known. Honestly, we could keep asking so many questions about whether or not he's married, just like many other people have done, but it seems like that's a subject he'd rather not comment on. Women are almost always readily associated with the responsibility to take care of kids in the homes, and their efforts are greatly overlooked because of that familiarity. When a man does even a quarter of that, he becomes a super dad. Chris is like a super dad pro max. Not only is he taking care of the kids, he's doing it while being tired and broke. A very neat trick. Chris probably doesn't understand that his actions and inactions have serious consequences, especially when you put all of them out there on the internet for the world to see. His push to appear as the perfect solo dad has created a very subtle but very disgruntled fan base of people that don't like his wife. In this video, he responds to a comment that read, "I'm hoping you're a single working parent who has sole custody. If not, leave her." Now, while he has never said that his wife never helps out, he sure has made it seem like she doesn't. That's the perception that his videos have given some of his passionate followers. It really can't be helped. When you make it look like you alone hold the family together without any help, it's natural for those who love you to advise you to leave your wife. For a family where father, mother, and grandmother are so involved in taking care of the kids, Chris's house always appears to be in a state of perpetual craziness. You'd almost think that the kids are the owners of the house, and every other person was a squatter.
Got off the graveyard shift, so let's see what the house looks like. Just be clean. Oh crap. Oh god, why does it smell like poop in here? 12:21, let's see what we can do in an hour. What? That was it. It's on my hand.
There must have been poop on this towel.
Okay. Let's just dump it on.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I just got home from vacation. Let's see what the house looks like.
Holy. Why is there a pee diaper here?
It's 1:18. I've been traveling all day. We're gonna go ahead and give it 30 minutes. You just push everything into a pile and makes everything feel so much better.
While it's expected that the house will be a mess sometimes because of kids, it's a bit weird that his house is that way every time. His followers also share the same concern. "I was then widowed with 4 kids, 7, 5, 3, and 1. Still, my home never looked like that." In one of his Q&A sessions, one of the questions he got asked was whether he intentionally messes up his own house.
Do I purposely make a mess in my videos? No. Guys, I have 3 kids. They're like little tornadoes. They're very creative. I love them for it. Especially my son is super creative. And you know, like with 3 kids, it's hard to pick up everything.
Creative kids can always be taught to clean up after themselves. Chris makes it seem like they can't be controlled, so he just lets them do whatever they want. With how far he has gone to put himself out there as a solo parent and gather sympathy, it really wouldn't be so unbelievable if we find out that all that mess is intentional. Looking at Chris's life, one thing's certain, and it's the fact that he is not a broke dad, or at least shouldn't be one. You may be wondering how I can say this so certainly, like I track his finances. Well, you're not far off the mark.
What kind of work do I do? I'm a physician assistant.
Chris works as a physician assistant, and his wife, who takes turns with him on different shifts, is a nurse practitioner. So he clearly isn't the only one making money in the home. They both have steady jobs that pay very well, especially since they work in healthcare. In the US, physician assistants typically earn between $66,978 and $139,117 a year, depending on how long they've been working, where they live, and what field they focus on. And the average yearly salary of a nurse practitioner falls between $123,891 and $149,797. This depends on factors like years of experience, location, type of healthcare facility, and specialty area. Nurse practitioners often work in high-demand environments like emergency care, pediatrics, or family medicine, where they can further increase their pay. When you combine this with the income of a physician assistant, it's clear that their household is not just financially comfortable, but well above the average income level for American families. The talk of being broke is totally untrue. Chris is not just telling small lies, he's creating a whole image around a struggle that does not really exist in his life. Again, it's clear that he's using people's emotions to get attention, and that is very troubling. He's taking advantage of kindness from strangers who believe they're helping a struggling dad. But in reality, he has a well-paying job, a working wife, and a steady home. By pretending to be someone who is barely surviving, he turns honest concern into likes, views, and sometimes even money. That's not just wrong, it's taking advantage of people's trust. Chris has a presence on all prominent social media platforms. He has 730,000 followers on TikTok, 653,000 on Instagram, 448,000 subscribers on YouTube, and 496,000 followers on Facebook. So we're talking about views, lots of them across multiple platforms. On TikTok, he has videos that rack up views in millions. As we know, TikTok is a social media platform that is monetized for creators. The higher number of views, the more money you can make there. Currently, there are content creators who live off earnings they make from their activities on the social media platform. TikTok and YouTube are the 2 platforms that pay him, as he explained that he does not earn from both Facebook and Instagram.
Problem is social media is not really reliable income. I've got bills I have to pay every single month, and everything's like here and there and here and there with social media. Like I don't get paid from Facebook. In the very beginning, I did 9 months ago is when I stopped getting paid from Facebook. They changed their creator fund. Now it's invite only, and so I'm waiting for them to invite me on the page that I made. So I don't get paid on Facebook. Instagram, I don't get paid on Instagram. TikTok and YouTube. TikTok's RPMs, now TikTok's going away. I mean, there's not going to be anything. And my RPMs on TikTok are horrible. Like horrible. A lot of people don't know how it works on the creator fund. Pretty much like if you get like 1 million views, more than half of those aren't going to qualify. At least that's for me. More than half of them aren't going to qualify. So you're not going to get paid for those. And then I'm not sure how they calculate the RPMs. I've talked to other content creators, and I guess mine are just low. I don't know why.
Whatever he earns from his social media activities adds to the income he already makes as a physician assistant. So in reality, Chris has multiple streams of income, which is something many people dream of having. That doesn't sound like someone who's struggling to get by. In fact, it paints the picture of a man who is financially stable and possibly even thriving. On top of that, Chris makes purchases and takes part in activities that clearly show he is not strapped for cash. For example, one time he decided to buy things for all the teachers in his son's school, even though all he needed to do was buy for his son's teacher.
Tomorrow's Teacher Appreciation Week, and I don't have anything for my son's teachers. Okay, we're gonna need this. We're at Costco. Let's see what we can find. Bye. Instead of buying just for one teacher, we're gonna buy stuff for the whole school. We're gonna try out some of these beef sticks. Does anyone know if they have coupons here? We're gonna get some of these protein bars. Honestly, I probably should have planned this out better. Get some of these. Why is Costco so overwhelming to shop at? My son says his teacher likes chocolate, so let's get this. Gotta hit up the free samples. Here you go, buddy. These ones are $6 off, so we're gonna get these. I have protein, caffeine, and chocolate, so let's get some snack. Got it, buddy? He's currently building a fort. Coffee's on sale, so let's get some of that too. No one likes their breath smelling. I honestly think it's only gonna be like $100. Thank you. We went a little over budget, but we gotta hurry up and get this stuff to the school.
It's hard to believe that Chris truly understands what it means to be broke and struggling. In one of his videos, he mentioned that he went over budget, but he conveniently left out the actual amount he spent or even a rough estimate. That missing detail says a lot. If he had actually shared the figure, it might have exposed just how far from broke he really is. Sure, the supplies he bought may not have been extremely expensive, but still, a man who's truly struggling financially would not be casually filling his cart with extras. He would be budgeting every single item, maybe even putting things back at the register. He would be calculating whether to buy groceries or pay a bill. Someone who is really broke doesn't get the luxury of buying just to create content. They don't spend money to tell a story, they spend money because they have to. So when Chris glosses over these details and still tries to claim he's struggling, it makes his story even more unbelievable. In another video, he decided to go shopping for supplies for victims of a hurricane in North Carolina.
So I can't imagine not being able to buy diapers, tampons, wipes. We're gonna fill up a cart and donate it all to North Carolina. We're gonna focus on the essentials: toiletries, diapers, wipes. Oh, I don't know which ones to get. Overnight. We need deodorant. Now we need toothbrushes and toothpaste. Dental floss. Can't forget about the kids. We gotta get paper plates, cups. Not gonna get too many of these. We gotta get diapers and wipes too. Forks, spoons. I probably should have counted because I'm supposed to make individual bags. I gotta get the baby stuff now. So there's so many sizes of diapers. We're gonna size up and just get the biggest ones. I mean, I've used my 3-year-old's daughter on my 1-year-old. Starting to lose things. So many people lost everything. People don't have food, they don't have water. This is just like one small thing that I can do. And it wouldn't be possible to give things like this if it wasn't for you guys. The line is so long, they're gonna hate me. Thank you.
Honestly, helping people in need is a noble and admirable thing. In that sense, Chris deserves some credit. If more people made an effort to give back like that, the world would probably be a better place. But here's the thing, just how many people do you know who actually have the financial flexibility to walk into a store and buy all those items he just picked up without batting an eye? Not even talking about people who are broke or living paycheck to paycheck. Even folks who are relatively comfortable and doing okay financially usually plan ahead before spending that much in one go. Most would think twice, maybe even 3 times before making that kind of unplanned purchase. Yet Chris does it casually, as though it's nothing. That alone tells you a lot. It takes a certain level of financial ease to make those choices without hesitation. Sadly, Chris either doesn't realize how different his reality is from the one he's pretending to be in, or worse, he knows exactly what he's doing and continues to ignore it. Either way, it's a disconnect from what most real people are actually facing. Then there are the brand deals also.
I don't know if anyone else feels this way. Now that my son is in kindergarten, I spend so much time with my 8-month-old and my 2-year-old. Today we're gonna do a Daddy Sunday, and we're gonna have some fun. Ready, buddy? Hey man, how's it going? Ooh. I don't know why I'm always the only adult jumping with all the kids. We just got done at the trampoline park. Now we're at Burger King trying out the new Post Panda Sundae topped with Oreo. We're so excited about the new Kung Fu Panda 4 movie that just came out. We can't wait to see it. All right, buddy, come on. Got it. Can I get a Post Panda Sundae topped with Oreo, please, and an Oreo shake and chocolate? What else do you think we need with them? French fries. How was it, bud?
Good.
We've been stuck inside all day and my kids have completely destroyed the garage. We only got 20 minutes to get this done. As a data-free and content creator, my phone takes a beating. That's why I need a phone case that's durable and actually going to protect my phone. With Casetify's up to 21-foot drop rating and customizable designs, I know my phone will be protected and look good too, even after my kids drop it on the floor. Check out Casetify's website, biggest sale of the year, and extra discounts when you bundle. Now let's go clean the garage.
These are just 2 examples of the many sponsored ads Chris has posted, and we all know what that means. Ads bring in money, and not just a little. In the world of social media influencing, especially with an audience as large as his, even one paid partnership can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. So it's safe to say that the more ads he does, the more money he makes. It's a simple equation. More brand deals, more income. Yet despite this, he continues to double down on the broke dad narrative like it's a badge of honor. Chris, for the 100th time, you are not broke. At this point, the role you're playing is so far from believable. People might have believed it once, maybe even twice, but after watching him partner with brands, drop hundreds at stores, and maintain a well-decorated home, that broke dad act just doesn't hold up anymore.
Process for purging when you buy new items. Oh gosh, you should see my closet. I need to...
Chris is really struggling to keep up his own act. How do you, a broke man, have so much in your closet that you need to do a purge? With what money were you able to afford all of the items you own? Chris has told one too many lies about his life, and it's all starting to look like a pack of cards about to fall if nothing's done about it. From hate comments to speculations about whether or not he's married, Chris has his hands full, but he still isn't backing down from sharing his story as a solo parenting dad of 3 kids. There's something undeniably special about a father-daughter relationship. It's a bond built on trust, protection, and a unique kind of love that shapes a young woman's view of the world. From teaching her how to ride a bike down to walking the aisle by her side, a father's role is one of guidance, support, and unwavering pride. But what happens when that bond crosses into territory that feels off? When the lines of intimacy within a relationship blurs in ways that make people stop, stare, and question everything they see? That's where we find ourselves with Sarah and Patrick, the TikTok duo known as the Dad-Daughter Dream Team, whose videos have sparked a firestorm of controversy, concern, and outright disbelief. Their stories have been heard all around TikTok and have even trickled beyond, with the constant reaction being between absolute shock at first and eventually disgust if you stare long enough. At first glance, their account might seem like just another quirky family vlog, one that's filled with dance challenges, goofy skits, and a whole lot of affection. And apparently that is what the duo behind this channel believe. That's what they're passing on to viewers with their content, albeit in their own unique way. But the moment you dig a little deeper, you'll quickly find a rabbit hole that's as unsettling as it is bizarre. Sarah, who is a 22-year-old still living at home, and her father, Patrick, who is in his 40s, have built a TikTok empire that has left viewers scratching their heads and clutching their pearls. All those reactions are as a result of their relationship dynamic. It's not just close, it's uncomfortably intimate. Especially for a father and daughter, their interactions are full of bizarre touches, gazes, and interactions that feel more suited to a romantically involved couple. And it's not just the internet's imagination running wild here. No, far from that even. There's a laundry list of events that have fueled this speculation, each of them more heinous than the former. The list includes a faux marriage proposal for a purity ring, where Patrick literally proposed to his daughter, to allegations of creating spicy NSFW AI content together using an AI agent. They even created an OnlyFans account for the agent, and Instagram, and even TikTok accounts. Yes, you heard that right. A father and daughter. Their story is nothing if not controversial, and they make sure to stay in your face by posting regularly. And even when they go on breaks, they're usually back to posting within days or weeks at most, looking like they're trying to aggravate whoever bothers to give them any attention. In this video, we're peeling back the layers of the Dad-Daughter Dream Team saga, starting with the moment that had TikTok in a chokehold. From there, we'll unravel the tangled web of their controversial TikTok history, which involves multiple deleted accounts, accusations of racism, ties to a questionable AI persona, and a family dynamic that raises more red flags than a Spanish bullfight. We're exploring Sarah's sheltered life, from homeschooling to her parasocial obsession with an actress, and question whether Patrick's influence is loving or controlling. And we'll tackle the elephant in the room, the grooming allegations that Sarah vehemently denies, but viewers can't shake. Are people overreacting, or is there genuine cause for concern? Let's find out.
No matter where I go, no matter what I do, you'll always be a part of me and me a part of you. I want to give you everything in this entire world, just because I love you, my sweet baby girl. You've had me wrapped around your finger for 21 whole years, through every hardship and all of the cheers. I have watched you grow into the woman I now see. Sarah, you're the greatest thing that happened to me.
We dive straight into the moment that put Sarah and Patrick's dad-daughter dream team account on the map, and not in a good way. It's the infamous purity ring proposal, a video that left viewers cringing, confused, and frankly creeped out. If you haven't seen it, picture this. Patrick, a middle-aged dad, stages what looks like a full-on marriage proposal to his 20-year-old daughter, Sarah, complete with a shiny ring and a speech about purity. Yeah, it's as uncomfortable as it sounds, and it's the spark that ignited a firestorm of controversy around their TikTok presence. So what exactly went down, and why did this moment make people so uneasy? Well, in the video, Patrick sets the stage with the theatrics of a rom-com. He announces to the camera that he's about to give Sarah a purity ring, but wants to make it special by mimicking a marriage proposal. He's clear it's not a real proposal, thank goodness, but the execution is where things go off the rails. He calls Sarah over. She seems caught off guard, maybe even a little annoyed, as she's pulled away from reading a book on the bed. Patrick then launches into a speech saying, "You're 20 years old, and most kids your age are not pure. I want to thank you for being pure." He then gets down on one knee, presents a ring, and asks, "Sarah, will you wear this ring as a sign and a promise to God and to me to remain pure until the day you're married?" Sarah, visibly awkward, agrees, and he slides the ring onto her left ring finger, the spot traditionally reserved for an engagement ring. They exchange "I love yous," and the video wraps with Sarah admiring the ring, which Patrick insists will stay on her finger until her future husband replaces it.
What are you doing? What is this?
Sarah, will you wear this ring as a sign and a promise to God and to me to remain pure until the day you're married?
Yes. That is gorgeous.
Give me your left hand.
Now, the reason why this video hits such a nerve, first, the optics are undeniably weird. The marriage proposal framing, complete with a kneel and a ring on the left hand, feels like it's deliberately mimicking a romantic gesture. Purity rings are usually a personal choice for young people and are often tied to religious values, which is fine. Nobody's knocking someone's decision to wait for marriage. But staging it like a betrothal between a father and his 20-year-old daughter, that's a choice that screams tone-deaf at best. The ring itself adds fuel to the fire. Viewers pointed out that it resembles an engagement ring, reportedly found on Walmart's website, which makes the whole setup feel less like a fatherly gesture and more like a possessive claim. And let's not ignore Sarah's demeanor. She seems a bit uncomfortable, hesitant, almost like she's going along with something she didn't sign up for. This wasn't a private family moment, it was a performance for TikTok. And that public display amplifies the unease. Again, more context raises bigger questions. Sarah was 20, not a teenager when this happened. She's already an adult, capable of making her own choices about her body and beliefs. Yet, Patrick's speech frames her purity as something he's grateful for, as if it's a gift to him, not just a personal or spiritual commitment. The promise isn't just to God, it's to Patrick too, which feels like a huge overstep. Why does a father need to be so involved in his adult daughter's sexual choices? And why present it in a way that mirrors a covenant between partners? The dynamic suggests control, not celebration, especially when you consider Sarah's sheltered life, still living at home, homeschooled since age 10, and seemingly dependent on her family for most, if not all, of her social interaction. This wasn't a moment of empowerment. It felt like Patrick was just reinforcing his influence over her future. The backlash from this was swift. Majority of commenters called the video gross and disturbing, with many pointing out that the proposal vibe crossed a line, with one user saying that the proposal was far too intimate and it was illegal. Some even speculated it was Ragebait, designed to go viral by pushing boundaries. But Sarah's discomfort undercuts that theory, as she doesn't seem to be in on the joke.
Okay, we will not keep addressing this shit. I am not in an inappropriate relationship with my dad. We are father and daughter and we are close. Nothing more. I wear a purity ring and I take it very seriously. Only my future husband will ever have me in that way. Furthermore, he is my dad and he would never, ever do something like that. Ever. Also, to the creators getting spoon-fed lies, I have never been in a relationship with a woman and I am not bisexual.
But these were not the only concerns. There was also the question about grooming, noting how the public nature of the act could normalize an unhealthy dynamic for Sarah. Sarah later defended the ring, saying she takes it very seriously and that only her future husband will have her in that way. But her insistence on the ring's importance only deepens the unease. Why is her purity such a focal point of their content? And why is Patrick so invested in broadcasting it? I'll let you draw your own conclusions. This purity ring moment isn't just a one-off event. It's a window into the broader issues with Sarah and Patrick's TikTok presence. It set the tone for their account, where affection often feels too intimate, and boundaries seem non-existent. But this is just the beginning. When you think that the dad-daughter dream team couldn't get any stranger, we stumble into the bizarre saga of Aurelia Brigman, an AI-generated persona that took Sarah and Patrick's TikTok controversy to a whole new level. What initially started as a seemingly innocent Christian pop song ended in allegations of a spicy OnlyFans account, deleted social media profiles, and serious questions about what this father-daughter duo was up to behind the scenes. This isn't a plot twist. It's an entire detour into really questionable territory. The Aurelia Brigman story began when Sarah posted a TikTok of her dancing to a Christian pop song created by this AI account. She was the first and only one to use the song, which raised eyebrows and questions as to why Sarah was so drawn to this obscure AI persona. At first, Aurelia seemed harmless, as she was a virtual singer churning out wholesome tunes. But things quickly took a sharp turn when the account started posting spicier NSFW content. We're talking AI-generated material that was anything but family-friendly, complete with links to an OnlyFans page, a place where users can make requests to the AI agent in exchange for cash, and a Reddit account showcasing explicit content. It had everything. Sarah and Patrick were both following this account, which is where the plot thickens. Viewers started connecting the dots, speculating that the duo might have created Aurelia as a side hustle to cash in on the spicy content market. Especially since the song that Sarah used in her video, the one made by this AI, had only been used by her and no one else. The timeline of events also makes this suspicious, because as soon as Reddit users began calling out the connection, the Aurelia Brigman accounts, the OnlyFans, Reddit, Instagram, all vanished into thin air. Poof, gone like they never existed. This swift deletion fueled theories that Sarah and Patrick were behind it, and were scrambling to cover their tracks when the internet got too close. As if that wasn't enough to add to this sketchiness, a family Instagram account, possibly created for gaming and managed by either Sarah or Patrick, once followed a BDSM collar-making business. Now, that doesn't exactly scream wholesome family values. The leap from a Christian AI singer to an OnlyFans model is jarring enough. But the idea that a father and daughter might be collaborating on this, that's the next level of unsettling. What's at play here? Well, Sarah and Patrick's brand is built on purity and family values, with their purity rings and TikTok dances. So why follow an AI account that pivoted to explicit content? Unless the allegations that they created it themselves, or at least know those who did, were in fact true. Also, if they weren't involved, why not just unfollow when Aurelia's content got out of hand? The sudden disappearance of the accounts only deepens the suspicion. It suggests someone had something to hide, and the timing points to Sarah and Patrick. Redditors also pointed out that when you search the AI agent Aurelia Brigman, most of the results that come up are videos of Sarah and mostly content revolving around her. One commenter also pointed out that the main character in Patrick's failed book publishing is named Aurelia, pointing more fingers at them. Now, Sarah has denied these accusations, insisting she just liked the original song. But the coincidence is hard to swallow, especially when their family account's follow list includes such questionable choices.
And finally, there's a rumor going around that my dad and I created an AI that made spicy content on OnlyFans. Their whole basis for this accusation is that this AI posted a song. I saw it on TikTok and I liked it, so I made a lip sync. I also followed the account in case they posted more music I liked. Excuse me for liking an AI song, but that does not prove that we were behind the account. As for the spicy content they allegedly posted, we would never post content like that. Hell, we don't even know how to use AI like that. The most we've done with AI is get a few name ideas for characters in our book.
This wasn't a one-off mistake either. It's a pattern of boundary-pushing behavior that doesn't align with their public image. The bigger issue is what this says about their dynamic. If Sarah and Patrick were indeed behind Aurelia, it raises serious ethical questions. A father and daughter creating explicit AI content together, even if it's just business, it crosses a moral line that's hard to unsee. It's not just about the money, it's about the power imbalance. Sarah at 22 is still under Patrick's roof, heavily influenced by his decisions. If he encouraged or led this venture, it's another sign of control, not partnership. Even if they didn't create Aurelia, their association with the account shows a lack of judgment that underlies their "we're just a close family" defense. This AI scandal didn't just shock viewers, it amplified concerns about Sarah's well-being. It also caused people to feel less compassion towards her. Comments saying that she was aware of what she's allegedly done and she tried to cover up. I mean, it's one thing to dance too closely on TikTok, it's another to be linked to something this explicit. But the rabbit hole doesn't end here. As if the Purity Ring spectacle and the AI account scandal weren't enough to raise eyebrows, the dad-daughter Dream Team saga takes an even darker turn with the revelation about Patrick's brothers, both of which are registered sex offenders, convicted of heinous crimes against minors in both cases. And Patrick's nonchalant attitude about their presence in his life left viewers reeling. This was a bombshell that casted a long shadow over Sarah and Patrick's TikTok world, fueling concerns about their sense of judgment, safety, and what's really going on behind the camera. According to online discussions, particularly on Reddit where the discovery was made, Patrick's two brothers have criminal records that are as serious as it gets, convictions for offenses against minors. The specifics are grim, and the fact that these are Patrick's siblings makes their proximity to his family, especially his children, deeply troubling. What's even more jarring is Patrick's response when confronted about it. In a video, he brushes off the severity of their crimes, saying, "Yes, my brothers were convicted as offenders. That's their problem, not mine. I still talk to them. They're my brothers. They've paid their price to society."
They brought up my brother's convictions. Yes, my brothers were convicted as sex offenders. That's their problem, not mine. Okay, yes, I still talk to my brothers. They're my brothers. Hello. I mean, I don't condone their crimes, but you don't abandon family. They pay their price.
No remorse, no distance, just a shrug and a defense of family loyalty. This cavalier stance didn't sit well with viewers, and for good reason, with fans calling out Patrick for his efforts to defend them and downplay their crimes, while also raising concerns over the well-being of his children as he ignorantly says that he can't cut them off. Let's break down why this is so alarming. First, Patrick's decision to maintain a close relationship with his brothers suggests a troubling lack of judgment. As these aren't minor offenses, they're crimes against children, the kind that most people would consider unforgivable. Yet Patrick seems unfazed, implying that their time served absolves them. This raises a critical question. If Patrick is so dismissive of such serious crimes, what does that say about his own boundaries and values? As a father, his primary duty is to protect his children, including Sarah and her younger brother. But by staying close to his brothers, he's potentially exposing them to individuals with a proven history of harm. Though he doesn't confirm whether Sarah and her brother interact with their uncles, but Patrick's ongoing relationship with them strongly suggests they're part of the family's orbit. For viewers, this isn't just about Patrick's brothers. It's about what it reveals about him. His defense of "they're my brothers" feels like a justification, not an explanation, and it's particularly chilling in the context of Sarah and Patrick's already questionable dynamic. The Purity Ring video and the AI account controversy already hinted at blurred boundaries. Now, Patrick's association with convicted offenders amplifies fears that he might not see certain behaviors as problematic. It's no more far-fetched to speculate that Patrick's attitude could stem from a worldview that downplays the gravity of such crimes, though Sarah staunchly defends him, insisting he's the kindest, gentlest, sweetest man. But her defense only deepens the unease. I mean, does she fully grasp the implications of her father's choices? Or is she too enmeshed in his influence to see the red flags? This revelation also ties into broader concerns about Sarah's environment. She's living in what appears to be an extended stay hotel. She's been homeschooled since age 10 and isolated from peers. Sarah's worldview seems tightly controlled by her family. And Patrick's willingness to overlook his brother's crimes doesn't inspire confidence that he's prioritizing her safety or fostering a healthy, independent life. Instead, it paints a picture of a father who might be more focused on maintaining his version of family than questioning what's best for his daughter. Regardless, this saga isn't just about the isolated incidents. It's a pattern of choices that keeps viewers on edge. Next is the family's car seating arrangement and the troubling role reversal between Sarah and her mother. Why does Sarah sit in the front seat while her mom takes the back? And what does it say about their household? Well, once fans noticed this weird occurrence, Sarah quickly made a video to address it, saying that she gets headaches and migraines from sitting at the back of the car, and that's the reason why she swapped seats with her mom. Now, most people have heard of people feeling a bit of nausea and motion sickness while in the back seat of a car, but I don't think anyone's gotten full migraines for the singular act of being in the back seat. But this was Sarah's reason, and her mom looked like she didn't have much of a choice.
We weren't prepared for how polarized people would be about this issue, so I figured I'd come on here and explain it real quick so that everybody is clear on why I sit in the front seat and Mom sits in the back. So ever since I was 16, I get really bad headaches in the back seat. Nothing seems to help. I've suffered from migraines in the past, so that stems from that. Nothing seems to help. I thought music helped at first, but that slowly faded, and it just kept getting worse.
So she came to me and Dad and says, "I'm getting headaches if I sit in the back seat." I says, "Well, do you get headaches when you sit in the front with Dad?" And she said, "No." I says, "Well, why don't you sit in the front seat from now on and I'll sit in the back seat? I have no problem with that."
Yeah, she was completely willing to allow me to sit in the front seat just so that I wouldn't get headaches.
Yeah, because I don't like her having headaches.
This woman here, she's an amazing mother. She hates to see any of her family, especially her children, in pain.
I don't like that because she's not herself when she's in pain.
So this was entirely her decision.
Yes.
She offered to let me sit in the front. And honestly, that's how everybody's comfortable.
But in the video, Sarah and her mom explained that she didn't have to ask to sit in the front, but her mom offered her this seat, adding that she hates to see her loved ones suffer. Even a comment agrees with her claims of having a headache when seated at the back, saying that it's a valid symptom. At 22, Sarah's life revolved entirely around her family, with few friends, no college, and a sheltered upbringing that's raising serious questions about her independence. From her homeschooling to her fixation on actress Jenna Fring, Sarah seems cut off from the outside world, only tethered to her father, Patrick, in ways that feel more confining than comforting. Sarah's isolation starts with her education. She was homeschooled from age 10 through high school, and her younger brother is still homeschooled. There's nothing inherently wrong with homeschooling, but what we see suggests it may have limited Sarah's social exposure. She mentions having friends early in her social media days, but now they're mostly far away, and she claims to prefer family outings to parks over socializing. Fair enough, but the binary, clubbing or family time, feels like a false choice. At 22, most young adults find a middle ground, like coffee dates or hobby groups, but Sarah's world seems to lack that balance. Her family, particularly Patrick, appears to be her sole social anchor. This isolation is compounded by the family's living situation. described as an extended stay hotel or motel setup. It's an unconventional choice that suggests instability or intentional seclusion, further limiting Sarah's opportunities to connect with peers. Her TikTok content reinforces this bubble. Most videos feature her with Patrick, dancing, joking, or performing skits, with her mother and brother making only occasional appearances. The absence of friends or outside activities paints a picture of a young woman whose life is defined by her family's orbit, raising questions about whether this is her choice or Patrick's design. Then there's Sarah's parasocial relationship with actress Jenna Fring, a detail that's as sad as it is strange. Sarah and her family attend all of Jenna's meet and greets, and Sarah has convinced herself they're best friends because of these encounters. Patrick encourages this fixation, which feels less like support and more like enabling a fantasy. Parasocial relationships, where fans form one-sided bonds with celebrities, aren't uncommon, but Sarah's belief that she's close to Jenna suggests a lack of real-world connections. Instead of fostering actual friendships, Patrick seems content letting Sarah chase an unattainable bond with a stranger she pays to meet. It's a stark contrast to what most parents would want: a daughter who's building a life beyond the family, not clinging to a celebrity illusion. Why does this matter? Well, Sarah's isolation feeds into broader concerns about Patrick's influence. Her lack of peers, reliance on family, and unrealistic goals, like becoming a SeaWorld trainer without apparent training or education, suggests a life where independence isn't encouraged. The Jenna Fring obsession underscores this, showing a young woman yearning for connection but channeled into a safe, controlled outlet that keeps her dependent on her family's approval. Viewers see this as a red flag, with many wondering if Patrick is deliberately stifling Sarah's growth to maintain control, especially given his dismissive attitude toward his brother's crimes and the family's odd dynamics. The internet's reaction was one of pity and alarm. Commenters called out Patrick for supporting Sarah's fantasy of being besties with Jenna, saying that Jenna isn't a real friend if you have to pay to see her. Another noting that her sheltered life limits her perspective on what's normal, saying that the family needs a reality check. Some speculated that Patrick prefers her this way, dependent and unquestioning, while others worried about her future if she never flies out the nest. The dad-daughter dream team's TikTok journey is already a minefield of controversy, but the allegations of racism against Sarah and Patrick add a new layer of scrutiny to their public persona. From Sarah's baffling "pretty white in 21" comment to Patrick's reported use of racial slurs, these incidents have sparked outrage and deepened doubts about the family's judgment. In a world where every word on social media is dissected, these missteps aren't just slip-ups. They're a window into the values and awareness behind the camera. Let's break down what happened and why it's left viewers shaking their heads. The first incident centers on Sarah, who, in a now infamous video, responded to her father with, "I'm pretty white and 21."
Don't look at me in that tone of voice, young lady.
I'll look at you however I want to look at you. I'm pretty white and 21.
The context is unclear, but the phrase sets off alarm bells. Viewers slammed it as racially insensitive, questioning why Sarah would frame her identity in such a way. In a follow-up, Sarah claimed she didn't realize the comment was offensive, insisting it was a common saying she thought was harmless.
To the people who call me racist for my comment in live, "I'm free, white, and 21, that's a saying I've heard from many people in my life that just means I make my own decisions. I never even considered that it could be interpreted that way, nor did I know the true origins of the phrase. If people took it that way, I apologize. I am definitely not racist. I don't see color. I never have. All of us are created in God's image regardless of race."
But that defense fell flat. As critics pointed out, the phrase isn't a widely recognized expression, and even if it were, tying pretty to race in 2025's hyper-aware online landscape is a rookie mistake at best, ignorance at worst. For a 22-year-old who spent years on TikTok, Sarah's lack of awareness feels like a product of her sheltered life, where exposure to diverse perspectives seems minimal. Then there's Patrick, who's faced accusations of using racial slurs. Unlike Sarah, Patrick hasn't directly addressed these claims in the provided footage, leaving a void that only fuels speculation. His silence contrasts with Sarah's attempt to explain her comment, and it doesn't help his case, especially given his dismissive attitude toward other controversies, like his brother's convictions. If true, these allegations paint Patrick as not just tone-deaf, but actively reckless, undermining the gentle, kind father image Sarah defends. What makes these incidents sting is their place in the broader narrative. Since Sarah and Patrick's TikTok brand hinges on projecting a wholesome family-first image, yet these moments reveal a disconnect from social norms and accountability. Ignorance isn't a free pass when you're a public figure. This incident eroded the trust in their judgment, making their other controversies feel less like quirks and more like symptoms of a flawed worldview. This saga takes a deeply personal turn when we examine Sarah's brief flirtation with rebellion and Patrick's swift response to reel her back in. At the heart of this controversy is a dynamic that feels less like fatherly guidance and more like an iron grip on Sarah's autonomy. To understand this pivotal moment and why it's left so many viewers worried for Sarah's well-being, we have to go back a while.
I'm not good at the whole explaining thing like my dad, so this won't be a very long story, but you guys wanted it, and I want to try my best. Call this our first story time. Now, I can't do this all at once, so this is going to be filmed in clips to give me a chance to organize my thoughts and hopefully make it interesting.
According to Sarah, she hit a rebellious phase around age 18, though the details are quirky rather than wild. She admits she stopped brushing her teeth for about 2 years, not because of neglect, but as a deliberate act of defiance against her parents. She also speaks about her early social media life when she did things on her own, and how she explored with different sounds, cosplay outfits, and makeup, which she now hates.
I love and respect my parents, and so I did what they asked. I never went through that rebellious phase until I turned 18. I was an adult now, which meant I could choose for myself. I started making TikTok and Instagram my life. I stayed plugged in for most of the day when my parents were working since I didn't have to limit myself anymore. I began getting lost in social media. This led to my 3 years of emotional roller coaster that I've talked about before. I started to become someone that I didn't want to be, but I couldn't see myself changing. I just passed it off as finding myself. I also decided that since my parents couldn't force me anymore, I was not going to brush my teeth unless I felt like it, which, given it would take time away from TikTok or YouTube Shorts, I never felt like it. I also started to develop my curved spine problem because I spent too much time slouching in my chair or on my bed. I never noticed any of this, until my dad helped guide me out of all the mess and we created our first channel. People kept noticing my teeth and my curved spine, and at first, I passed it off as hate and bullying. So when I first dove into social media, I really wanted everyone to like me. So I would post a bunch of videos here on TikTok on things that were trending.
She also describes how Patrick saved her after he saw one of her profiles by advising her that she doesn't need to change who she was to make new friends. That if she did, then her friends would not be liking her for who she is, but who she's pretending to be. This sounds like good advice from a father to his daughter, but it's not so great now that we see the real plan to control Sarah that Patrick had the whole time.
I got to a point where I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. It wasn't until my dad stumbled on one of my accounts that I realized how bad it had gotten. Honestly, I never crossed a few lines because of my core beliefs, but I was at a point where I might have. My dad sat me down and explained to me that it's okay for you to want people to like you, but by changing who you are, they aren't really liking you, they're liking the person they want you to be. He told me to find those friends that accept me for who I am, and those are my true friends. He also helped me to see that I needed to stop being someone I'm not and be who I really am. So I deleted all the accounts and found a couple true friends who stuck by me even when they knew who I truly was. Since I decided to focus on myself, I am much happier. I'm at a point now where I don't care what anyone else thinks I should be. I am who I am, and I change for no one. I decided that I still wanted to do TikTok, but I wanted to be the real me. So I asked my dad to team up and do dance trends and maybe even other fun stuff. And so the dream team was born.
What's more telling with how Patrick responded is that when she started making her own choices at 18, Patrick struggled with losing control. So him stepping in was to pull her back from what she vaguely called a dark path. And by age 20, Sarah was firmly back under Patrick's influence, more enmeshed in their family dynamic than ever. This reining in process raises red flags. Patrick didn't just guide Sarah, he seemingly cut her off from the few friends she had, as she no longer mentions them in recent videos. The purity ring proposal at age 20, which we've already dissected, feels like a public marker of this control, tying Sarah's choices to his approval. The grooming allegations stem from this dynamic. Viewers pointed to Patrick's overly affectionate behavior, like petting Sarah's hair, touching her leg, or staging intimate dance videos as crossing boundaries. There's a clip where Patrick is stroking the back of her head weirdly as she tried to guess his favorite movie.
So, what's my favorite movie?
I know this one. The original Star Trek?
And also another chilling clip where Patrick places his hand on Sarah's thigh while asking about her favorite movie, a gesture that feels far too familiar for a father-daughter interaction. Sarah defends him fiercely, insisting she has not been groomed. She cites her knowledge of crime dramas and claims their affection is normal, but her need to say, maybe we need to dial it back, betrays an awareness that something's off. There's a chance she may not recognize grooming because it's been normalized her entire life, especially given Patrick's dismissive attitude toward his brother's sex offender convictions.
Opposite of what everyone believes. He is the least controlling man I know. He encourages me to make my own choices, and he never tries to influence me in any way. And then he backs me 1000%. He does the same for Hunter and Mom. People want us to be outraged and upset that people think we're a couple. Well, we are, but we also don't understand why people see the worst. Coming on here raging at people won't help, so why should we waste everyone's time? I get that some people aren't as affectionate as we are, but taking the leap from hugging and being close to each other all the time to that is absolutely the biggest stretch I've ever seen. I know that we may not be your typical father and daughter, but honestly, who are we harming by expressing ourselves in a completely innocent way with no bad intentions? You say you see red flags and are concerned for me, my mom, and Hunter. Okay, I'll admit that we may appear a little off to some people. My dad is quite the character for sure. He loves to be quirky and happy.
You do something to me that I can't explain. Hold me closer and I feel no pain. At the beat of my heart, we got something going on.
Another case that adds weight to these concerns is Sarah's transformation from ages 20 to 22, as well as a change in her demeanor, as she seems tired and over it, with dark circles under her eyes that some call raccoon eyes. While some speculate these could stem from a medical issue like a skull fracture, there's no evidence to confirm this. What's undeniable is that Sarah appears drained, a stark contrast to the vibrant teen she once was. This shift, combined with her lack of independence, fuels fears that Patrick's influence is stifling her, whether she sees it or not. Her audience's reaction to this is a mix of empathy and alarm, with many expressing concern for Sarah, saying the discoloration might be genetic or due to vitamin C deficiency or anemia, suggesting that she gets blood work done ASAP. With all that's happened, some people still have a theory that it's all staged, that it's all Ragebait, suggesting that Patrick is orchestrating this controversy for clout and views, with a laundry list of controversies piling up, from purity rings, spicy AI accounts, questionable family ties, and more. Some viewers theorize that Patrick, the mastermind behind the TikTok account, is deliberately crafting Ragebait to go viral, capitalizing on outrage to boost views and followers. In 2025, where shock value sells, it's not a far-fetched idea. But does this theory hold water? Or is the unsettling dynamic between Sarah and Patrick just their bizarre reality? The Ragebait theory hinges on Patrick's history and motives. He has tried and failed at multiple get-rich-quick schemes over the years, from a failed book launch to a gaming venture to potentially the Aurelia Brigman AI account. The TikTok account, with its boundary-pushing content, is one of the first endeavors to gain traction, racking up views through dance videos that feel too intimate and stunts like the purity ring proposal. The internet thrives on train wrecks, and Sarah and Patrick's account delivers each controversy, from Sarah's pretty white in 21 comment to Patrick's thigh-touching, sparks heated comments and shares. Some even argue Patrick knows exactly what he's doing, leaning into the creep factor to keep eyes glued to their content. After all, their multiple deleted TikTok accounts suggest a pattern of testing limits, retreating when backlash hits, and returning with fresh provocation. But there's one hole in the theory: Sarah's role. For Ragebait to work, both parties would need to be in on the act, fully aware they're playing characters for clout. Yet Sarah's demeanor, often uncomfortable, doesn't scream willing participant. Her fierce defense of Patrick feels genuine, not scripted. She said, "I don't care what strangers think," but her need to justify their dynamic, even admitting they may need to dial it back, suggests she's not orchestrating outrage, but reacting to it. Most people wouldn't agree to videos that invite such heavy scrutiny unless they truly see their behavior as normal. Sarah's sheltered life, marked by homeschooling and isolation, supports this. She may lack the perspective to question Patrick's choices. Patrick, on the other hand, is harder to read. His cavalier responses could be the mark of a clout chaser who thrives on controversy. Yet there's no direct evidence he's staging it at all for views, only a pattern of poor judgment that keeps the drama alive. The Ragebait theory assumes a level of cunning that Patrick's track record of failed schemes doesn't fully support. More likely, their content reflects a genuine, if troubling dynamic amplified by TikTok's spotlight. The internet's split on this. Some call it obvious Ragebait, pointing to the account's viral success, while others argue Sarah's distress and Patrick's oversteps are too real to be staged. Either way, the constant controversies keep viewers hooked, proving that outrage sells, whether intentional or not. As we reach the end of the dad-daughter Dream Team saga, one question looms larger than all the controversies combined. Is Sarah okay? The 22-year-old at the heart of this TikTok storm has sparked not just outrage, but genuine concern, with viewers pointing to her physical changes, subdued demeanor, and the suffocating dynamic with her father, Patrick, as signs that something's deeply wrong. From dark circles under her eyes to a life that feels more like a cage than a home. The alarm bells started ringing when viewers noticed a shift in Sarah's appearance and energy. Between ages 20 and 22, the vibrant young woman from early videos seemed to fade. Commenters described her as tired and over it, with dark circles under her eyes, dubbed raccoon eyes, that weren't there before. Some speculated these could signal a medical issue, but without evidence, it's the emotional toll that stands out. Another issue is her sudden weight gain. Over the past year or so, she seems to have gained a significant amount of weight, and her bent spine is now more obvious than ever. And there are a ton of possible explanations for this rapid change. It could be that she's overeating and paying less attention to herself. It could also be just a growth spurt. But there are no obvious answers available, and all there is for now is speculations. Sarah's life is like a pressure cooker. She's still at home in an extended stay hotel, homeschooled since age 10, cut off from friends, and tethered to Patrick through their TikTok empire. Her only friendship is a parasocial fixation on actress Jenna Fring, encouraged by Patrick, while her dreams feel like fantasies with no real path forward. This isn't a young woman thriving. It's one who seems drained, trapped in a world where her father's approval is everything. The public's concern about looks isn't meant to body shame or fat shame. It's about her health. There are real questions that she has avoided giving answers to. The amount of weight she gained, which she claims to be only 8 pounds, has been debunked by critics. And the concerns are not only about her weight, but also Sarah's life and her freedom. Her fierce defense of Patrick raises eyebrows even after she claims she knows the signs from watching crime dramas. Her admission that they need to dial it back reveals a flicker of doubt, a crack in the facade. Patrick's behavior crosses lines that Sarah may not see because this is her normal. And what if Sarah's mother, relegated to the back seat, looking spaced out in stained clothes while Sarah plays caretaker? The family dynamic screams imbalance, with Sarah cast as Patrick's partner in ways that feel profoundly unhealthy. Viewers aren't just throwing shade, they're pleading for Sarah's safety, many urging her to seek help or at least a doctor for her physical changes. The tragedy is that Sarah seems blind to the red flags, insisting that her life is her choice. But is it? With no job, no education beyond high school, and a father who seems to thrive on her dependence, Sarah's choices feel like Patrick's script. The Ragebait theory falls apart when you see Sarah's exhaustion. No one plays a role this draining for views alone. Yet the alternative is bleaker, a young woman so enmeshed in her father's world that she can't see the cage around her. So here it's about a cry for clarity, a hope that Sarah finds a path beyond the spotlight, beyond her father's shadow. TikTok thrives on drama, but this feels like a drama with real stakes, and the internet's watching, waiting, hoping she's okay. Cringe YouTube parents are nothing new these days, but what sets Jordan Matter apart is how he built an empire off filming young girls doing extreme flexibility challenges. Jordan, a 58-year-old former dance photographer, pivoted into YouTube fame by posting videos of dancers, gymnasts, and more recently, his own 15-year-old daughter, Salish Matter.
I'm gonna like she's walking on water. Let's go! Go, go.
But what got people talking is that most of his content features pre-teen and teen girls in revealing dance outfits, performing splits and flexibility stunts in public spaces, racking up tens of millions of views from an audience no one wants to think too hard about. And if that wasn't uncomfortable enough, his constant use of Salish as clickbait makes things even worse. But to really understand how Jordan went from respected photographer to exploitative YouTube dad, we need to start from the top. Jordan Matter was born on October 6, 1966. He eventually married his college sweetheart, Laura Matter, and together they had 2 children, Hudson and Salish. While this paints the picture of a typical happy family, there is surprisingly little information available about Jordan's actual relationship with his wife. And that's exactly the type of mystery that has fueled endless speculation among his viewers. In fact, during a rare Q&A session, Jordan finally addressed some questions about his marriage, but he didn't exactly spill all the tea.
I love this. How did I meet my wife, Lauren? Okay. Wow, that was a minute. We've been together a while, and you know it because we met in college and we were in French class together, and then she found an excuse to call me, and we went on a date, and we've been together ever since. It's not the most exciting story, but it was a snowy day in Richmond, Virginia, which never happens, and we walked through the snow together holding hands, and I realized I loved her, and it was the second date.
After marrying Laura, Jordan found himself standing at a crossroads asking the million-dollar question, what now? How do I provide for my family? That pressure pushed him to follow in the footsteps of his grandfather, who was also a photographer. But the truth is, Jordan's early photography career didn't skyrocket overnight. It wasn't until 2014 that he finally got his big break, thanks to a project called Dancers Among Us, a series where he captured professional dancers striking jaw-dropping poses in everyday locations.
Wait, she's not even here. She's supposed to be asleep. I thought she would be asleep. Where is she? What's that? Wow, that's how she sleeps. That's totally bizarre. I gotta get a photo of this.
And like you just saw, Dancers Among Us wasn't just about photography. It was about creating a fantasy, blending the real world with moments of surreal flexibility and athleticism. It was stunning, fresh, and it finally put Jordan on the map. But little did anyone know that this obsession with flexibility would later spiral into something much darker. So you heard the word darker, and you're probably thinking, what could possibly be dark about a guy like Jordan Matter? After all, he's just a cheerful photographer, right? Well, the darker chapter of Jordan's life began in 2011, the moment he decided to step into the unpredictable world of YouTube. He immediately created his channel, and somehow, against all odds, his subscriber count exploded, today sitting at a jaw-dropping 26.8 million. Now think about this. A photographer, not a pop star, not a comedian, not a Hollywood actor, racking up millions of fans. It's not something you see every day. So the real question we should be asking is, how? How did a photographer break through and achieve such insane levels of success on a platform that's saturated with every kind of content you can imagine? The answer lies in what Jordan chose to show his audience right from the start. His very first video is titled, Jordan Matters Headshot.
Beautiful, just like that expression.
Like you just saw, this video wasn't some crazy viral stunt. It wasn't clickbait. It was actually more of an advertisement, showcasing examples of his headshot photography and pitching his skills to potential clients. Straightforward, professional, and yet somehow that video managed to pull in over 1 million views. Now you might be asking yourself, why would a basic ad for headshots blow up like that? The secret was all in the timing. You see, when Jordan entered YouTube, the platform was dominated by flashy dancing videos, celebrity gossip, comedy skits, and random vlogs. Everyone was trying to out-crazy each other. But Jordan brought something completely different to the table, quality artistry. He presented real skill in an authentic way. His content felt refreshing in a sea of chaos. People were drawn to it like moths to a flame. But what nobody realized was behind all that polished, family-friendly glamour was something much darker. And if you're curious to find out what that was, make sure you stay till the end of this video. You don't want to miss it. Meanwhile, Jordan didn't just sit back and ride the wave of his first success. No, he had bigger plans. He decided to innovate, to expand his brand beyond just headshots and photo tips. He saw YouTube not merely as a platform to upload videos, but as a grand stage, a massive global stage, where he could turn photography into a full-blown entertainment experience. And that's exactly what he did next. Jordan quickly adapted his successful Dancers Among Us project to fit the YouTube format. And week after week, viewers were treated to beautifully choreographed and often awe-inspiring videos.
Always a little nervous at first because you never know what to expect with Jordan. I may be flying through traffic or diving past a moving train. You never know what it's going to be.
These videos attracted a lot of attention and brought him a growing base of loyal fans. Jordan was praised for his creativity and his ability to capture dancers in dynamic, everyday environments. His channel was different, vibrant, and inspiring. But somehow for Jordan, that wasn't enough. He wasn't content with just being a niche creator. He wanted more views, more fame, more influence. And that's when things started to shift. Jordan's focus moved from adult dancers to young performers, particularly girls from the popular TV show Dance Moms.
Okay, let's go, bozos! Y'all gotta be kidding me. I do not know if I can do this.
This is so much fun, man. Oh, no!
You see, this change wasn't accidental. It was calculated. Jordan quickly realized that videos featuring child stars attracted far more attention and revenue than those featuring adult performers. For example, while many of his Dancers Among Us videos barely cracked a couple million views, his collaborations with young stars like the one you just watched skyrocketed to 26 million views and beyond. Unfortunately, with that pivot came controversy. His content started to feel increasingly exploitative, as he crafted scenarios that often pushed the boundaries of what was appropriate for minors. So what started as an innocent creative venture was now veering into much murkier territory, and many longtime fans began to notice. Now let's get into the shift. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how everything started spiraling out of control. Like I said, Jordan has always carried himself like someone who's starving for more fame, more attention, and more views. And in his desperate quest to get that more, he crossed a line. He started taking shots of nude dancers. Yeah, you saw that right. Jordan would usually carry out this act during the nighttime. He even had a name for it. He called this project Dance in the Dark. Now, at first glance, you might think it's just some edgy photography project. But when you really look deeper, it gets a lot darker. Darker why? Jordan did get what he was looking for, the views, the subscribers, the clicks. But here's the disturbing part. The majority of the people viewing his content were not adults. They were children. Kids that just stumbled around the internet trying to explore, and Jordan's content was right there. Flashy, provocative, and borderline predatory. But it didn't end there. Because as Jordan's fame grew, so did the dangerousness of his content. It wasn't just about late-night photo shoots anymore. It became about pushing the envelope as far as he possibly could, no matter the risks, no matter the consequences. For example, he started posting videos where dancers were leaping over moving cars, flipping off of vehicles in active traffic, and posing on unstable surfaces in the middle of the road.
So the train is blurry, and in order to do that, you guys have to stay absolutely still. Yes, ask that dude to move. Somebody, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. Oh gosh, oh my gosh. No permission, no permit. You ready? There.
They're coming down. They're coming down.
Well, who's coming down? The police?
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Let's go. Let's go.
Come on.
You don't want to go?
Oh God, let's go this way.
Now, you might have just watched that and thought, well, that doesn't look that serious. But let me break it down for you, because it is serious. First off, Jordan isn't the one doing the dangerous stunts. He's sending kids to do them. Literal minors, flipping, jumping, and running around in busy streets with moving vehicles everywhere. And here's the thing, Jordan knew it was wrong. In the video, you can even hear him say, "We're not allowed to do that." He knew it, but he still encouraged it because to him, the views were more important than the lives of the kids involved. Secondly, he's flat out breaking the law. You see, normally when people do stunts in public places, especially ones that involve traffic, they have permits. There is a whole system behind it to make sure it's safe. But not Jordan. To him, it's just about the thrill, about the chaos, about what looks the craziest on camera. No permits, no safety precautions, just pure recklessness. And if you think that was crazy, it gets even worse. Watch this.
Yeah, let's do it! This UPS truck is about to leave. I dare you all to wall flip off it before it goes.
Now he's daring kids to flip over moving trucks. Moving trucks! This is not just playing around anymore. This is absolute madness. This is a disaster waiting to happen. And sadly, the kids involved probably didn't even realize how much danger they were really in because they trusted him. They trusted Jordan to guide them, to look out for them. Instead, he threw them straight into life-threatening situations for content. And here comes the part that's just flat out disgusting.
Now I'm jazzed up. I want you to flip over a car with somebody in it, okay? There's 9 seconds. This blue one right here. Who's gonna do it?
I'm going.
Go.
In that clip, a child performs a stunt right in front of a car that had an actual person sitting inside. Someone just waiting at the traffic light. Now think about that. What if that driver got spooked and accidentally hit the gas? What if the light turned green and they started moving right as the kid leaped across the hood? One wrong move, 1 second off, and someone could have been seriously injured or worse. So once again, this is beyond just dangerous. This is unstable, irresponsible. This is the height of clout chasing, and it's being done at the expense of children. And the question we really have to ask is, why? Why does Jordan seem to get some kind of kick out of this? Is it just about the adrenaline? About watching kids risk their lives while he stands back and collects views and sponsorships? Because that's what it looks like. And honestly, it's sick. Another upsetting part of Jordan's content is his unhealthy obsession with contortion. Before diving deep into that, I feel it's important to first establish a crucial fact. It is extremely unsafe for kids, especially those younger than the age of 11, to be involved in certain extreme dance moves. Why? Because at that age, a child's body is still developing. Their bones haven't fully matured, their muscles are still growing, and their joints are much more vulnerable to long-term damage. Pushing their bodies into extreme positions, such as those required for contortion, places unnatural stress on their still developing frames. This can cause lifelong injuries, chronic pain, and sometimes even irreversible damage. To support what I'm saying, let's consider Brooke Hyland, a former member of Jordan's Dance With Us show. Brooke has openly discussed how doing intense contortion work at a young age took a serious toll on her body. She's now only 24 years old, and her doctor warned her that if she continues those extreme movements, she could end up not being able to walk again.
It was also taking a toll on my body. I was competing with dislocated shoulders. My back hurt so bad, even when I was breathing. My doctor literally told me that if I was continuing to do the contortion that I was doing, that I probably wouldn't be able to walk by the time I turned.
Now think about that for a second. 24 years old, facing potential permanent disability because of what she was pushed to do as a kid. It's heartbreaking. Now, when we look at Jordan's current content, what do we see? Contortion everywhere. Video after video, challenge after challenge, Jordan is constantly encouraging and pushing kids to do contortion moves. Ironically, contortion is the exact reason Brooke and others walked away from his crew in the first place.
No way! What the heck? No, actually no.
She's going so fast.
Stop. Come on, say hurry. Come.
Well, I'm done. I just bumped into this thing.
Stop, I got her. Stop, what? No. Are you actually kidding? What the heck?
I can't even run that fast.
And it's not even that he gives these kids enough time to properly warm up or prepare for the intense stretches. Even when he does allow a little prep time, he's often rushing them. He pressures them to get into those painful positions quickly for the sake of a photo or short clip, disregarding how dangerous that can be. Stretching and contortion require patience, gradual build-up, and professional supervision, not a frantic hurry up and pose attitude. But it doesn't stop there. In fact, it gets worse when we take a step further into Jordan's public appearances. You can see when we go to that area, we find out that two disturbing things stand out. The first one is that Jordan is loud. Like, unnecessarily loud. Now, you might be thinking, what's wrong with being loud? Some people are just high energy. And yes, being lively isn't inherently bad, but Jordan's level of loudness is overwhelming. It's aggressive and in your face, to the point where even the most outgoing, energetic people find it exhausting. Now, one thing we should have in mind is that in public spaces, not everyone is there to be part of a circus. Some people are introverts. Some people just want to enjoy a quiet afternoon. Others are simply minding their own business. But Jordan doesn't seem to understand or care about this dynamic. In every public challenge he organizes, he's screaming at the top of his lungs. The expressions of the people around him say it all. You can almost hear them thinking, boy, chill out, it's not that serious.
Do you think if we could find a pole high in the sky, you could climb up on the thing, hang from it, you could lift her, and then you could hang and then you could hang?
Yes, we need. Yeah, we can.
Could you do it? Can we do it? Whoa! Yeah! Okay, that's usually my part. Can we do it? Yeah!
So like you just saw, most of the kids he's working with aren't toddlers. They're teenagers or older. They can follow directions without someone screaming orders like a drill sergeant at boot camp. Practically speaking, it's just way too much. Watching Jordan's video is exhausting. His constant shouting, frantic energy, and over-the-top antics make it genuinely draining to sit through even a few minutes of his content. It's not energizing, it's chaotic and stressful. So just a piece of advice, if you value your peace and sanity, stay far away from his videos. They'll drain the life out of you faster than you can hit the mute button. Now, the second thing, and honestly the one that frustrates me the most, is how Jordan does many of these videos. This is particularly aggravating because a lot of these workers in these places are just trying to do their jobs.
Stacy? Yes, Stacy?
Finally, Stacy works.
I don't know what she's punching down. Oh my God, Stacy, you're brilliant. You're gonna get kicked out, but you're brilliant.
Good morning.
Oh no!
You busted.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kick you.
I know.
Or get in trouble with you.
Do you have a permit?
I do not have a permit.
Okay, so you're making a big thing.
You want me to be done?
Well, it doesn't.
Go. It's gorgeous, go. Go. One more. One more. One more.
Now, when we look at the effect of these stunts on these workers, we'd realize that they're getting paid minimum wage, dealing with stressful shifts, difficult customers, and long hours. Some of them are students trying to get by. Others are parents working second jobs to support their families. The last thing they need is someone barging into their workspace with a bunch of kids and turning the place into a circus act. What's even worse is that when workers politely, or sometimes not so politely, tell Jordan and his crew to stop, he doesn't listen. He still encourages the kids to keep going, to keep posing, to keep filming. He completely disregards the fact that he's creating a disturbance and making the workers' jobs harder. Yes, you could blame the kids for not listening, but honestly, the majority of the blame falls on Jordan. He is the adult here. He's the organizer. He's the one behind the camera encouraging all of this. If he had any sense of respect or decency, he would get permission beforehand. He would walk into the establishment, explain what they want to do, ask if it's okay, and maybe even pay the business for the disruption. But he doesn't. Instead, he disrespects these workers' time, space, and livelihoods. And it's not just annoying for the workers, it's frustrating and embarrassing for the kids too. Imagine being a teenager, realizing that you're causing a huge scene, that security is about to escort you out, all because the adult you trusted thought it would be funny or cool to disrupt someone else's workplace. That's got to feel awful. So at the end of the day, it just feels incredibly selfish and disrespectful. Jordan's attitude is, I want this content, I want this video, and I don't care who I inconvenience to get it. And the sad part is he's dragging young, impressionable kids into this toxic mindset along with him. Another thing we should know about Jordan Matter was that in 2019, he made the bold move to introduce his son, Hudson Matter, into his content. They started by doing joint shots together, creating some heartwarming moments for their audience to see.
Versus son photo challenge.
Hey, you guys get to control it, yeah!
First, we have to take a photo that we can post on Instagram.
Yeah!
Yes, I want this shot.
No,
This
it's
is my
mine.
shot.
Hey,
No,
no,
this
I
is
got
my
it.
shot. I got this shot.
What you just saw was truly a lovely sight to behold, a father and son working side by side. However, in reality, they were not working together in the way many assumed. Jordan was actually teaching Hudson the art of photography. This wasn't just a casual hobby for them, it was something much deeper. It was deeper because photography had been a family profession, passed down from Jordan's grandfather to Jordan himself. Now, with Hudson stepping into the picture, Jordan was overjoyed to have the opportunity to pass on the family legacy to his son. So, when it comes to Jordan, this was more than content creation, it was a meaningful connection to his family's heritage, a tradition that he was eager to see continued through Hudson. Teaching Hudson photography represented hope, pride, and the continuation of a passion that spanned generations. But just when everything seemed to be settling into a heartwarming story of family tradition and mentorship, the dark side of the situation emerged once again. And this time it was even darker than what we discussed earlier. This dark turn we're talking about came when Jordan started pushing his 13-year-old son out in a weird way. It started with a video titled, "Instagram Controls My First Son's Date," which was then followed by "My Son's First Kiss." In the video, we found both Jordan orchestrating romantic situations with his then 13-year-old son. Let's break down the two videos for better understanding. So in the Instagram Controls My Son's First Date video, which currently stands at over 17 million views, these kids tell the camera that they're going on their first ever date, and that Hudson's dad is going to be taking photos of them doing it, which is totally weird for the record.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hudson Matter, and tonight I'm going on my first date ever with Rachel.
And we're gonna let Instagram control what we do on our date tonight. We posted about it and got so many responses.
And my dad is gonna take the photos!
Yes, I am. Okay, the first thing is...
Now, to be honest, I can't imagine 17 million people watching me as a 13-year-old going on a date, orchestrated and filmed by my dad. Yet, somehow, this is normalized on YouTube. But the crazy part is what happened in one video, when Jordan prompts the girl his son is on a date with to stretch him out for a photo.
Rip my pants.
Can you stretch him out real quick?
Ow! No, actually, ow! Ow!
So here's a breakdown of Jordan's actions. He is manufacturing a suggestive situation, all for views. When you look at this video carefully, you'll find out that the entire video is painfully awkward, and the kid's clearly uncomfortable, forced to spend time together for clout and money. Yet Jordan continued making more videos featuring his son and the girl, Rachel, framing her repeatedly as his son's crush. Now, moving on to the second video titled My Son's First Kiss. The video opens with an extended slow-motion clip of the kids almost kissing before cutting to Jordan's intro, still describing his channel as behind-the-scenes dance photography. The next thing the video shows are the kids going around town, posing for photos and performing skits, until Jordan pressures them into a kiss in Times Square.
Remake of the Times Square kiss.
Look her right in the eye, very close. All right, this is so cringy. Here, go. Oh, yes, okay. That's an awesome photo. Now we gotta do an actual kiss, okay?
So you can see the crowd gathered to watch the kids kiss. But the kids' refusal to do this only shows one thing. They're not ready and are too young for this kind of pressure from their father. Although after much pressure, Rachel kisses him on the cheek. Jordan frames it as a blossoming love story. So at this point, it's obvious. Jordan's channel has nothing to do with dance photography. It's built on exploiting kids for clout, scripting awkward relationships, sexualizing children for millions to watch. The photography is secondary. It's just a prop to lure parents into allowing their children on camera. And to prove what I said is true, this pattern shows up again with other kids. In a first kiss video featuring Eliana Walmsley and JT Church, aged 12 and 13, Jordan stages another kiss. He frames it as giving the kids a choice, but pressures them relentlessly.
Photo of a sailor kissing his girlfriend goodbye in World War II. I want to recreate that photo with you guys right now. Your character is you're the sailor, okay? So you're here, right? And you're saying goodbye to her for one last time. And then she's dipping back and you're giving her one kiss.
Let's just do a dip right now. Don't even worry about the kiss yet.
And go. Good. Now, shot's beautiful. I'm going to be over there. I'm going to take one more photo. It's your guys' decision if you want to actually kiss or no. Your call. One last time. See what happens.
Should we do it, Ellie? Just do it. Just do it. Okay.
Go.
Wait, hold on. Okay, I don't. Okay, what works? I don't know. Okay, are we doing it? Okay.
Now, all of this tells us this isn't playful content. It's orchestrated situations where kids are coerced into performing for millions of strangers. Worse, while Jordan's audience includes many kids, it inevitably draws a predatory adult audience as well. Yet no meaningful laws or protections exist to stop this. These aren't isolated moments. It's a repeated formula. Dangle kid romance for clicks, disguise it under photography, and rake in millions. Parents either don't realize what's happening, or they're willing to look the other way for fame and money. At the center of it all, Jordan, profiting from the exploitation of his own child and countless others. Now, what many fail to understand is the implication of their actions. These kids are underage. Exposing them like this would only do more harm than good. Like I just explained, Jordan Matter's YouTube channel took a disturbing turn as his children became the focus of his videos. But it got worse when his 13-year-old son Hudson was phased out, and his 12-year-old daughter Salish took center stage around 2021. Although Salish had appeared in Jordan's videos before, her role was minimal, often participating in challenges or gymnastics videos with other social media personalities. However, in 2021, Jordan made her the primary focus, coinciding with his collaborations with Piper Raquel and her squad. Jordan's sudden change seemed to be an attempt to replicate Piper's success with his own daughter. So after that moment, Jordan started making videos that were increasingly uncomfortable to watch. He began exploiting Salish's image by forcing her into awkward and inappropriate situations, such as using a leg stretcher on children during challenges. Unlike earlier videos, where other children had oversight from parents or agents, Jordan now controlled everything, placing Salish in the spotlight without safeguards. All of these are in a desperate quest to get the Piper record.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
out!
19. You got this, Piper. 21. 22.
23.
Oh my gosh.
Ready?
She's gonna.
You got it.
Another disturbing aspect of this shift was Jordan's use of Salish's love life for content. He fabricated crushes and fake relationships, particularly with 14-year-old YouTuber Nadal. Jordan pressured his audience to buy into these made-up stories, giving them a ship name and encouraging them to root for a relationship between the preteens. The Nailish playlist, filled with 25 videos about their relationship, included videos where they pretended to kiss, were put on lie detector tests to confirm their feelings, and even pranked each other into declaring love.
Your girlfriend on TikTok.
People got it mistaken. I meant to put FG, friend that's a girl. People like in the comments were like, girlfriend question mark? And I had like reply, no, friend that's a girl.
Is that true?
The TikTok was funny.
It's a lie. What just happened?
Anyways, next question.
The most requested questions are at the end.
Do you like getting shipped with me?
And so it's only going to get more and more intense.
Have you ever had a crush on your sister's friend?
No, I haven't.
It's a lie.
Have you ever slid into anyone's DMs?
Get this off me. No. Wait, no, skip the question. Skip the question. Don't answer that.
Wow.
Okay, who is your current celebrity crush?
There's two, Madison Beer and Brooke Monk.
True.
There's still Brooke Monk and Madison Beer. Who's smarter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She takes that one, I suck at math.
True.
Who do you think is just like smarter all around, like in everything?
In school stuff, you, other stuff, me.
True.
Yeah. How would you ask someone out?
I'd first get their attention, like that hit my lip. Got it! How say I ask someone out?
Although Jordan described this as fun, it is clear exploitation. He framed the content as innocent, but the pressure he put on these children to perform for views was undeniable. The audience, largely composed of adults, was heavily invested in the fabricated romance, with AI-generated videos of the children kissing gaining thousands of views. Jordan's content had shifted from dance photography to manufacturing children's relationships for clicks and views, all while using his daughter's private moments for profit. Now this takes us to Salish's first kiss videos, which exemplifies this shift. The videos were staged and uncomfortable for the kids involved. Jordan marketed these forced interactions as cute and wholesome, but it was evident that the children were only participating because they were coerced by adults. What started as innocent content turned into a machine designed to generate views by making kids perform increasingly inappropriate and uncomfortable acts.
I want you to peel the thing back and just smile at him. Do not kiss him. Here we go.
I'll give you $1 million because I don't have it.
So, if you want to kiss?
Yeah.
So as Salish became the primary star of Jordan's channel, it became clear that her childhood was now dictated by her father's need for content. Many of his videos revolved around her being forced into a relationship narrative, which she likely did not choose. Jordan's manipulative actions made her feel as though she had no choice but to perform for her father's channel, and her participation was necessary to maintain the privileges that came with being part of the spotlight. Let's take a look at this extreme contortion.
Sophie Dossie has 5 rounds to transform my daughter into a contortionist.
I don't know if she's gonna be able to do it. Come on, come on!
I don't know if I can do this!
If Salish can recreate 2 of Sophie's most epic poses, she gets an incredible prize.
Dad, I don't think this is possible!
Otherwise, I will dump a huge pink drink on her head.
Uh-oh.
And Sophie and her boyfriend Dom recreate viral couples photos, which has been the most requested collab of the year. It's Sophie! Round 1, Salish Matter has to recreate this photo.
Oh boy. I don't know if I can do that.
You have 2 minutes to teach her each skill.
Okay.
Go! Salish, you're gonna have to get 2 out of 5 of these rounds, or she loses.
You're gonna go on top of your toes, so like this, but you're going to put one out in front of the other. Almost like you're coming up from a backbend. Yes, there you go.
1 minute.
I don't know if I can do this!
You're almost pushing your hips to the sky. So yeah, over your
Now this video is titled Transforming My Daughter into a Contortionist, and like you just saw, Salish must do this whether she wants to or not. So right now he is dictating his daughter's life. To add to that, Salish's image was increasingly commodified, attracting a disturbing audience. Subreddits dedicated to exchanging pictures of her emerged, showing how Jordan's content was not just entertainment, but also attracting predatory individuals. These people were likely exchanging images of Salish taken from Jordan's YouTube and Instagram posts. This kind of exploitation highlights the dangers of allowing children to be filmed without proper protections or safeguards. But Jordan frequently played the role of a concerned father in his videos, pretending to worry about how his daughter dressed or how she was perceived. However, this facade crumbled when one realized that these moments were being filmed for millions of viewers. His concern for her well-being seemed disingenuous, as he was profiting from these situations. His content shifted from photography to fully orchestrated narratives involving his daughter's life and relationships. So by the time Salish was 15, she was one of the highest-earning YouTube stars, with over 2.44 million subscribers with just 11 videos. Yet the most important question was, how did she get there? She got there through forced narratives, manipulation, and exploitation. And this left many concerned. Her childhood was shaped by her father's drive for views, and her privacy was stripped away for the sake of content. But the thing here is that, while Jordan's thumbnails often depicted her in dramatic photoshopped poses, the underlying truth was that her life was being monetized for public consumption. In many of Jordan's videos, Salish was forced into uncomfortable situations, often framed as a normal part of life. Jordan Matter might not be the first parent to monetize his children for content, but he represents a worrying and growing trend, one that treats children like a commodity, where privacy and normal development are sacrificed on the altar of YouTube fame and fortune. What makes this even more disturbing is that so much of Salish's audience is made up of kids themselves. Kids who look up to her, who wish they could be her. They dream of having a rich, present dad who showers them with attention, buys them anything they want, and lets them skip school to make YouTube videos for a living. To them, it looks like the perfect life. But the twist here is that people don't see the reality in all this. They don't see the pressure, the exhaustion, the complete loss of any real boundaries between their private lives and public personas. These young viewers have no idea that what they're idolizing is actually exploitative. They don't realize that for most children, going to school, having friends outside of a camera lens, and having personal time to grow without being constantly monetized is so much better than being a full-time content machine for a parent's brand. Salish's life is not a dream. It's a carefully curated trap. And I can only hope that by making videos and speaking up about it, even if we only reach a few of these kids, we can help them understand that. So the truth is, we don't know how to end this with a clean solution, because as long as platforms like YouTube continue to financially reward parents for exploiting their kids, this will keep happening. And it doesn't end when the kids grow up, it gets worse. We're already seeing former child YouTubers turning to OnlyFans as soon as they legally can, cashing in on the predatory audiences that have been watching and sexualizing them since they were barely teenagers. Piper Raquel is a prime example, turning 18 this August and already teasing adult content while collaborating with OnlyFans creators. Her mother knows exactly what they're doing. They know there's a massive audience of predators ready to hand over money the second it's legal. It's disgusting, dystopian, and heartbreaking. And that's just one part of it. When you factor in Jordan Matter's history with nude photography and the disturbing implications that has on his audience, combined with the reckless disregard for the safety of the children he makes content with, all for the sake of content, honestly, it just gets worse the deeper you look.
I'm jazzed up. I want you to flip over a car with somebody in it, okay? There's 9 seconds. This blue one right here. Who's gonna do it?
I'm going.
Go.
At the moment, there aren't many creators willing to seriously call out Jordan Matter and others like him, partly because he hides behind the image of a supportive dad, partly because people don't want to be seen as attacking a family. But using your child's privacy, childhood, and future as content isn't parenting. It's exploitation. And no amount of wholesome branding changes that. Jordan Matter has built his fortune off of turning his daughter into a product. He's normalized a system that feeds kids to an audience that doesn't always have good intentions. And while it's heartbreaking to think about what Salish might be dealing with privately, sympathy cannot be used as a shield from accountability. This needs to stop. This is Jordan Matter, the family-friendly influencer who commodifies childhood, fuels parasocial fantasies, and paves the way for a lifetime of exploitation. Get him and every other parent like him off this platform.